it helps to be young. I think if we got on TikTok right now, we'd be totally ignored.
I think we would probably be judged as dirty old men.
Yeah. Well, to an extent, you can end up being cute. Like, think about the.
Oh, I am.
Thinking about those beans. Like, that dude's a legend.
And look at Papa John.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about those beans. That guy.
Thinking about them pizzas.
Thinking about those
I haven't thought
beans.
about the beans guy in a while.
By the way, Dan, your face today. Well, oops, it went back to normal. I was gonna say nobody could ignore you because you had the light of 1,000 suns coming off of your skin.
Am I lighting bad?
You were.
I think there's something on you're pulling up something on your screen that's making you rather a glow.
Lighting, all of it. Every last bit of the lighting was right
in
there
your
on
fucking
your face.
Well, fuck.
And it was all sexy. Just kidding, not really.
Like that?
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got like auto white balance turned on or something?
One big bloom.
It's not a good camera. So I put all my good cameras in the rig back there and I put a C270 up here. And so it goes from nothing to way overlit very quickly.
C270.
Yeah, nice. It's probably not even a camera anybody's familiar with because it's not worth knowing. It's like a $30 camera.
Yep.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Are we buttoning our shirts? Should we do that?
Yes, I'm showing off too much chest hair. I don't want the women folk to get too excited.
Oh, wait. Maybe I should do the opposite then. There we go.
The C270 is the, I really didn't want to spring for a C615 camera. Which, to be fair, they're almost the same thing.
And I bought two of them. So I still have this shitty C270 here. And then I have all my nice cameras on the rig. I don't know. I'll eventually replace this one with something better. I just haven't gotten to it. There's plenty of other gear to buy and do.
I don't have my C615 plugged in, but it was the one that was normally doing my camera to you guys in Zoom, and then I just have the 920 on stream, but now I'm doing the 920 for everything. Consolidation.
Yep. That's the way we do it.
Oh, SRIOV support was not enabled. That's a problem.
Prepare IOV.
I decided against playing that track, even though I was thinking that would be perfect. It's a little 2-minute thing. It's crunchy. But I did notice that these are being restreamed to YouTube. So for the longevity of our videos, I shall refrain. I have a feeling that Grimes might be a little bit copyright happy, or her peoples are.
Yeah, you never know. I can turn off the YouTube right now if we want to do that. I like going onto YouTube because it's, that's an arena I would like us to penetrate deeper, but it's not absolutely necessary either.
Let's talk more about this penetrating deeper thing.
I was just gonna say.
As soon as I said that, I was like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
Oh, I should not talk about being penetrated so much on.
What exactly have I unleashed here?
What exactly are we penetrating, Dan? And how can we go about doing it? Oh, my wife's home. Hi, Juan. Just so you know, there's going to be some keytarring.
Oh, you know what? I can play like the first 30 seconds of it until she
days that end in Y.
I think Lori wants to come down and watch me keytar.
Nice.
You guys have a very unique relationship.
I know what to get you excited.
Oh, that was the best laugh. It was true giddiness.
So good.
No wait, the keytar works, huh?
Yeah, I told you.
That's amazing. I'd always thought it was not that way.
Would you think it was a prop keytar?
You thought that this would not make my wife excited?
I guess you told me about it, but I thought you were joking, kind of.
No,
thank you for the follow, SH1T Wolf. Now, is the SH1T was that like a special edition of the SH01, or
it's Shit Wolf?
Or did you just want me to say Shit Wolf? Because I can do that too. Hey,
I want to.
Shit Wolf.
Thanks for following.
Shit Wolfen. Shit Wolfen. Shit Wolfen. Everyone, please go give
German is a romance of language.
Mono a follow. He does some really excellent stuff Really excellent DAW-based stuff, and it's awesome. When I say DAW-based, it's still jam. It's very much a jam, and it's an excellent jam. So everyone who is watching currently, please go give him a follow.
Uns.
Das uns follow, yes.
Das uns.
Ja, das uns.
Ja. Das ist gut, ja.
Das ist gut.
Ja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only on a Tuesday. Jesus, that was amazing.
Yeah, Dan, I think when you get close is when you just become like blasted out of
That was really
video
cool.
land.
Was that Dan?
But the fart noise?
That noise was not me.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a balloon letting off. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
but
what
is
we
it
call
really your anus?
It very might well be. Well, not if it was not when I was in gaping anus. No.
Yeah, no, damn it. A Bridgewater, I was just going to say that. Totally missed opportunity. Lou and Odor would have been the thing, but...
Lou and Odor.
Sounds good anyway.
Lou and Odor?
Yeah. David Miner, what's going on?
Hi, David Miner. There's no camera.
Are we just going, we're going soft open here?
Yeah, let's go soft open.
All right, we're just going to... welcome to Gear-Splaining.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
This is Gear-Splaining.
How you doing today?
Talking about splaining some gears.
It's pretty... Yeah.
I'd like to say, Polyend sent out this really teasery email. I think I shared it in the Discord where they're like, hey, everybody, guess what? We tried really hard and we busted our asses. And so all those trackers, we shipped them. Those things are totally going out right now. And we're like, yeah, that's awesome. And
you
then
didn't get your notice, did you?
Then I didn't. It hasn't shown up yet. So. Jeremy of Red Means Recording got his, and a bunch of other
he had
people are
one
posting. Yeah, but he did his whole like, hey, it's actually out now, guys.
Yeah.
Look. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think he gets, I mean, you're awesome and everything, Code. Don't get me wrong, but I think Red Means Recording got
They need
a
to
little bit of...
recognize.
Yeah, I know, right? Bitches need to know.
Come on, Polyend. I own exactly 0 of your gear. What's up?
Don't you know who I am?
So it's got to be coming for you soon, though. I mean, they're getting them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna happen. It's like your Moog. It took a little time, but it'll be so worth it once it shows up.
I'm looking forward to seeing whatever the hell you're going to do with that thing. Because to me, it just looks like you're programming in BASIC.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know that gets you.
There it is. That's it. That's it right
excited.
there. He was like,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, daddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
say it harder and say it slower.
Like programming BASIC.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
It's just like programming. God damn it, I forgot to update the title, which means no one knows what the show's about. Hold on, I gotta update the title. What I need to ask is that everyone will refresh their browser screen in a moment.
It's very important that you do this because, otherwise, dude, you have to let me know when so I can do this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not upset, Salvo. But I have maybe opened the front door 6 times every day for the past 3 days. Yeah, just in case, hey, did somebody leave something on my front doorstep that I need to go pick up? Because it's a little warm outside, and I wouldn't want my electronics to sit outside in the warm.
In the warm.
I need to come in
check
here.
Again.
It's cool. Maybe my poor tracker might catch the beer bug, and that would be terrible.
All right, I restarted it, so everyone needs to go refresh their browser right now.
That's important. Yep. There it is.
That's
Guitarino.
Guitarino.
Kind of like the Deuterino. Yeah. All right.
You're right, Salva. You got to warm up them digital circuits. Get them flexed.
Oh God, I'm all fucked up now. Okay.
It auto updated, but then we're not going to get a bunch of fake extra views by a bunch of people refreshing nonstop. Oh,
this guy always thinking strategy.
That's right. You ain't cheating, you ain't eating pie. Something like that. I don't know. I was bad at it, as it turned out. This is the Guitar Show on Gear-Splaining this week.
Before the show, we were talking about how one of Dan's younger relatives, a niece, perhaps,
Yes.
Yeah, was talking about, hey, I do streaming, and pops on, TikTok or something really quick, gets 1,000 views for a 4-second video that she does in the kitchen in like 3 seconds. And
Yeah,
we're
so
like,
she's
we're
15.
doing this wrong, man.
She's 15.
Welcome to
And
Gear-Splaining. See you next week. Click. Just
that's
kidding.
what they
We're back.
do. They
Click.
do these little
Real quick.
micro
Hey
videos.
guys, how's it going?
And then that's
It's
it. Yeah, we'll just do. We can do 2 hours worth of 10-second TikTok videos, and we'll get
Yep.
10,000 views. Sorry, my wife was just sniffing her bra. It was kind of a weird moment to see.
That's interesting.
I know. See,
Why do
look,
I see her?
I know, right?
There needs to be the
You
keytar.
pointed it and I looked. I was like, "What? What's over there?"
The keytar plus
Tired.
the bra sniffing all together in a photo. That sounds intriguing.
Guitar plus bra. Here we go.
Oh,
All right, let's do it. Pick up the guitar and play. Those go on your eyes, buddy.
So much going on.
We're breaking new ground on this. Yeah, it's the guitar show on
Guitar
Gear-Splaining.
bra.
that needs to be a GIF. Get
Yep,
to work.
So here's what happened. Long ago.
In this
ago,
galaxy,
someone,
or was it a galaxy
some
far, far
state-
away?
it was here.
Okay.
But an innovator, kind of like Darth
Like
Vader, was like, "Hey,
local group, or like Virgo cluster, or like straight up this galaxy?
America, man, America."
America.
But not in this dimension. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He said, "What if we combined the best part of a guitar with the keyboard, which is much more versatile and sounds awesome? What if we smash those two things together? What if we say, hey, we're gonna smash these two things together. You can be able to walk around a little bit while you play keyboard, kind of like you do with the guitar." And thus, the keytar was born, a portmanteau that was destined to exist from the moment the two items were named. The keytar.
Guitar.
Now, the keytar's fortunes have
It
risen
kinda,
and fallen and
kind of
fallen
sounds like
quite a lot.
should be a Thundercat, right? Like Kitara. was
Kitara?
that- Yeah. Was that a thing?
Kitara. I
Or
made
the
that joke
ancient-
just a minute ago, actually.
Or the ancient Babylonian goddess from the really shitty movie. What was it? Blood Diner. Her name was Sheetar.
Wait, Blood Diner or Blood
Yeah.
Diamond?
Blood Diner. Diner. Look it up. It's a great shitty horror movie.
Like a
Okay.
portmanteau of like a lady and a guitar.
Sheetar, your body looks good. Is the best line in that movie.
I was just gonna make sure no one was calling Blood Diamond shitty because that movie is a fucking
No, I'm talking about no.
badass. All right, so
I'm
Blood
talking
Diner.
about Sheetar. Yes.
Kitara. All right, so
Sheetar.
the keytar, for those who don't know, if you don't know,
You better ask
That's-
somebody.
you better ask somebody, is when you take a guitar form factor and you shove a keyboard into it.
Quality.
Comes in two formats, one with sounds and one without, but all of them fucking rock, sort of, kind of. To play guitar requires a very special disposition. Not only do you have to play keyboards, but you also need to be able to rock more than just being on a keyboard stand would allow. Guitar is born. It literally is just a portmanteau, and we have an expert in X Studios on guitars. So he's going to give us a walkthrough of what he's got. We're going to talk about the history of guitars a little bit.
The long storied history.
We're going to get into what guitars are out there that are available today and that are still cool. Well, you know, that are still there. Dial it back from cool. And we're going to see if there's a guitar out there that I think that's going to break me from my stance of making fun of guitars. And I think there is actually one.
I think there's two.
You think there's two?
I think there's two.
All right, well, let's do it. This is Gear-Splaining. Yeah, Salvo, we know it's
This
SH-101. Thanks for revealing the end. When you go see Star Wars with someone for the first
went
time, you're like,
poorly.
yo, it's his father.
Gears.
There you go.
God.
Gear-Splaining.
I kind of meant to do more like, oh, that was even bad.
That's okay.
Let's try
Yeah.
this again.
Whoa, all right.
And for the last time, here we go. Yes, everybody.
Oh my God.
Hopefully we're getting some motion sick. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. By the way, this is Gear-Splaining. In case you haven't noticed.
In case you were,
In case you haven't been hit with the.
in case you had not axed anybody.
Yes.
You better axe somebody.
Like the axe edge, or in this case, the axe 7.
Goddamn right.
Damn straight. This poor thing, man. I've had this for a long time, and it is showing its age. I have played so many dirty clubs with this thing. And never cleaned it. I think one of the keys is kind of busted. Yeah, it's kind of like falling apart. The D-beam is broken. Big surprise.
Oh,
I know. It's got a D-beam on it.
that makes me kind of sad, actually.
Yeah. But it's it doesn't turn on anymore.
That sucks, man. The D-beam is, man. I mean, that
Poor
was an
man's theremin.
innovation of innovations. They used it for years.
Yeah.
I have the theory that they created the D-beam, and then they were like, "This is gonna be a hit. Just make 1 million of them."
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a warehouse, and then it sucked, but they're like, "Just make sure it goes on everything, so we can clear out this fucking warehouse. It's some level of recovery for it."
I think so, because this is the dumbest thing to put on a guitar, because when are you going to be like, you're playing your guitar, you're not like, I'm gonna D-beam my thing.
Yep.
Wait. Does it have a hold button? At least?
No, it just has a on off button.
How does it not have a hold button?
I don't know, dude.
So if you like press a chord, it can't just like hold the chord.
Oh yeah, no, it has that.
Go...
Yeah, it has the cold horde. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was
the
going to say
cold horde.
the cold horde. Yes. Well, some people like to play their WoW and play guitars, but yeah, because I mean, you need something while you're going to D-beam. You need to like turn on an ARP and then
right. Turn on an ARP. You make this thing sound so complex. It's not. I think the newer ones, I think like the Axe Edge has an arpeggiator in it. But this is just a MIDI controller, really.
I think a guitar as a MIDI controller is fine, and yet somehow I don't want a single guitar that's a MIDI controller. The only ones I want are actually synths. So maybe I just want the synth they're attached to, and that's not a fair way to assess these things.
Yeah, I mean, I if I got something like the Axe Edge, I would probably mostly use it as a MIDI controller anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not coming with like an amazing. I think the synth that's on it is fine. It's serviceable. I've heard it. It actually sounds okay.
Right.
But it's like stock Roland sounds that you get everywhere
it's a performance synth. I mean, really, in the end, I mean, these are all performance machines. You're not going to be. I don't sit in the studio. Well, I am right now, but I don't sit in the studio and be like, I'm going to use my guitar to play this. It
depends on what kind of studio. Music studio, no, but film studio, yes.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Backlot film studio or casting couch, yes.
Porn set, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes, that's in fact how the D-beam broke.
Probably. It's funny because like everybody that I know who had a D-beam on whatever piece of Roland gear they had, they've all broken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I have no idea how this thing would break anyway. I mean, really,
my D-beam worked great.
I never used it. I never used the D-beam once. I looked at it and like, this is dumb.
I had a 505 and I used it all the time, and it was great, and it worked until the day I didn't have the 505.
Wow. Well, it must be a Cleveland thing. Must be all the industrial stuff.
Yep. The D-beams must be allergic to industrial.
D-beams are allergic to the as the mayor of Cleveland called us today, the butthole of the world.
Wow.
Wait, wait, hold on. Yeah. That actually happened?
Yeah.
I saw
that. Sean post about that.
I didn't think it was real. I saw that.
The mayor of Cleveland, he's like, well, people think of us that we're the butthole of the world, and I don't understand why. I'm like, the butthole of the world.
I actually saw that, and I think I rejected it in my mind as this has to be like satire. No way the mayor would say something like that.
Yeah.
There's just no way, but he did, huh?
Yeah, people consider us the butthole of the world. I mean, I've heard mistake on the lake. I've heard, that kind of thing. But butthole of the world, I think, is a brand new one. And I can't wait for the CLE clothing company to start putting out T-shirts.
Butthole of the world is actually pretty funny when you think.
I know, right?
It's pretty good. And you've got
Cleveland, home of the chocolate starfish.
Yeah, quite a weight on your shoulders with a title like that too.
I know, right? How do we? I mean,
especially now. I mean,
Right? I
This
know
is-
there's so many buttholes in this world. How is Cleveland the butthole?
You are
We're-
the
we're
butthole of the world.
model butthole for all other buttholes in the
Just
world.
think about the huge masses of people that haven't been home to like shower in some
Right?
time. I mean, that's a lot of butthole to carry on your shoulders.
And if you think about it, like, we have Youngstown like an hour from here, which is far more buttholey than we are, and sorry, Neon, if you're watching, but we got Toledo, like an hour from here. We have Canton.
Nope, it's Cleveland, man.
But
I don't know why.
we're surrounded.
never-
We're like in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle of buttholes.
I'd never even
Bermuda
heard that
butthole.
before. That's the weird thing. I'd never heard butthole of the world. What I'd
Neither
heard
have
was
I.
armpit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of armpit and I've heard, all that other stuff, but yeah, butthole. Like wow, that's even worse, I think. I mean,
It's way worse.
unless you're really into butt stuff, I mean, then it's great. Then we're a fantastic city.
This
If
is
you
the
like the
Keith
butt
Show.
stuff, you'll love Cleveland.
Like, and where do you go from there? Like, if Cleveland is the butthole of the world,
Well,
what
you go to
exactly is Pittsburgh?
the taint? I don't
Well,
know.
The
that-
taint?
Hit right in the name.
Yeah.
All right, so the Butthole Surfers were from San Antonio.
Yes.
Yeah, totally different butthole.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
but
different form.
Nine Inch
factor, really.
Nails is from
How are you going to
Cleveland.
say that Trent
Well,
Reznor
of
is from the
course.
butthole of the world? If
Well-
he got out of the butthole of the world, does that make him a turd?
he's kind of a turd. Here, meet him.
He's kind of a turd.
He's kind of a turd.
I've never met him.
Oh,
He's like,
Trent
hey,
Reznor
you know what?
is
Actually,
the god amongst men. He's not a turd. You guys
he
shut your
is
mouth.
kind of a turd, though.
turd.
But like, if you look at Trent Reznor
Pirate
now,
huggers.
he kind of looks like a slightly
Okay,
more
fine.
fit William Renkosic, aka Bad Boy Bill. You know how Bad Boy Bill is just kind of a turd? He's just like this chunk is just like, I'm gonna scratch records and like wear my sunglasses.
he's a buff
Dude.
turd.
Trent Reznor's kind of like that, like outwardly, and then when he starts talking, you're like, oh, you have a personality, cool.
Bill did a streaming set on, I think, Facebook. I don't know, maybe like a year ago with Richard Vision. He dropped the Humpty because that wasn't cool, and he still plays the same records. He's like locked into 18 years ago. He's still playing like really the same records for the most part. It's actually kind of wild. It's fine. You just would think that he would have like kept on innovating and going. For a while there, he's playing like really like pop oriented stuff, but I think it didn't really quite work. So he went back to what was working, which is fine by me. I just wish that art form is what had continued. Anyway,
I really need
know
to
what-
change my Twitch name now to X Studios Butthole.
X Studios Cleveland, the butthole of the world. It's your slogan.
Yes. X Studios.
Live from the butthole.
Right? Live from the butthole of the world.
Other people are not live from the butthole.
No.
X is.
Yes. Well, I mean, sometimes, information tray.
Sometimes
It's
information trade.
It's also live from the butthole of the world.
All right, so let's get into it. There was a Moog, and it really kicked it off, as Moog does with most things.
Well, we should go
guitar.
back, but we should go back before that, really.
We should go back before that. All right, what's
because
before Moog?
you need to talk about Edgar Winters.
Edgar Winters didn't play a guitar. He just kind of like took a keyboard and screwed a strap on.
He called it a guitar, though. I'm just saying.
He's using he put a strap on.
I know he strapped on it. He put a strap on.
Yep.
Yeah, but
So Edgar
still,
Winter is
come
so.
on.
someone
Are we
saw
saying-
that and said, "I can do better than that."
We saying that Edgar Winter is like the inspired. We're totally seeing your email right now.
I
Kel.
know this fucking piece of shit. I'm trying to work and answer some questions and do some other things at the same time. Sorry. And
It's all right.
so
All good.
as soon as I
I
move
just
this
figured you didn't
window, it's
want
like,
anybody
I'm
seeing all
gonna
that.
now show the fucking email. I'm like, cool, great, thanks. That's awesome.
Everyone must now sign an NDA.
It's all right.
Oh yeah, so Edgar Winter, and whether or not Edgar Winter actually did anything or no.
Dad, can you say goodnight?
Good night.
Oh, the kids are saying go to bed.
Bed.
Yes.
It's-
Good night,
Come on, what are you doing?
Good night.
Good night.
It's back. All right.
Yeah, I think Edgar Winter, no matter what, was I think he probably inspired people. Maybe. I don't know.
Dan disappeared.
Dan decided he was done with us. Well, now he's not here, so now we can shit talk him. That Dan, let me tell you. What bad things can we all say about Dan? Let's leave it to the chat room. Guys, go ahead.
Chat. What do you
Edgar
say?
Winter was an albino. I think he still is, actually. He's still alive. I think he is an albino, yeah. Yeah, he has great. He's an interesting person. If you can YouTube Edgar Winter. Frankenstein. Wow, David Miner. Man, why are you calling him names like that? He's calling Dan a treasure. That's harsh. I don't know where Dan went. Do you know where Dan went?
Probably to do something with his kid.
He went that way.
Yeah.
I don't see him over there, though. I know. I feel like a college radio station right now. This is the part where Coherence and I just sit there and awkwardly stare at each other.
You're listening to WBEM North Central. We'll be here until 4 a.m.
That's pretty good. You take it. You worked college radio.
We've got a couple of new albums that arrived. They're not out of the box yet, so we won't be playing them tonight, but just to whet your appetite.
Yeah.
If anybody was wondering, I am still waiting on my tracker. Don't know if you know, I actually ran upstairs just one more time to check the front door. It wasn't there.
Did they send you a shipping notification?
Hold on, what? The fuck off the building! Yeah, sorry. College Town. It's homecoming. It's a little bit underattended due to the, but there's a lot of protesters, so it all kind of evened out. It was good. They had a lot of signs.
That was too good. So I need to make more. I need another keytar. This thing's getting kind of old. So I was thinking about converting, because you can do this with the instrument. You can turn this into a keytar. I mean, you can strap it on. It's got the little pegs and stuff like that. But I need to figure it. If I can build a little box with some batteries, and then I have a little handle for that shit, and I can make my instrument battery-powered keytar action. Oh, Dan's back. Quit talking about him, guys. I can't believe you said that shit about him. God.
I had the audio playback on.
Yeah, whatever.
Like that.
No, I was talking
All right.
about the guys in the chat. Thanks, Solve.
Are we doing instrument right now?
No, I was talking about how I want to make it I want to make it into a keytar. Because you can, it has a little strap, it has little places for straps, but I want to get like a, battery running off of batteries and.
Yeah, you can put the straps on and then run it off batteries.
Yeah, and I'll need like a little battery handle, so that way I can hold on to it like a keytar.
Yeah.
So
All right, cool.
Like that. Anyway,
when I left, we were on, I think, Edgar Winter Frankenstein.
Yeah, we were past that. You left, and so we just kept going. We finished the show.
All right, so we're
Thanks
all
for
good
watching, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. This is Gear-Splaining. Check in tomorrow, where we won't be airing tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of like that. We basically stared at each other, and then Coherence did an excellent college radio DJ imitation.
Is it like that that scene in Wayne's World? Sorry, I'm very tired. Is it like that scene in Wayne's World where Wayne walks off the set and then Garth is just on the set and he goes, and then the guy, I think Rob Lowe or someone leans over and says, "You ever see that scene in Scanners where the guy's head's about to explode?"
It was like that, except that I think they were trying to convey that Garth was really uncomfortable and just kind of
Yeah.
froze. And in this case, I think neither of us just had anything to say, so we just didn't.
We know who the ringleader is here.
But it was like a coordinated. We don't really have anything to say, and so it was more of a cumulative effect of, wow, that's a really big chunk of dead air.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Solid.
Well, so Edgar Winter, I guess. Where should we go after Edgar Winter? Or where
Now
did
we can move into the Moog Liberation
Okay.
if you want to.
Moog Liberation. The Moog Liberation was a keytar from the Moog folks, and it had a Moog synth on it, which is probably why a lot of people actually really like them, is because on top of being a keytar, it was a really pretty damn good analog synth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I really know about it, because I didn't really even know much about the Moog Liberation before today. What do you know about it, Ix? Tell me more about the Moog Liberation.
That it was a cool keytar. I don't know.
Is
much
it
about the
basically like a mini Moog with a keytar, or is it a Rogue or something?
It was kind of like it was 1980, so at that point it was probably like the Rogue, or like the realistic thing, that the realistic MG1 that they made, because Moog licensed themselves out to Radio Shack for a synthesizer. My friend of mine has an MG1, and it was basically the same circuitry that was in there, but it had like I know that the neck was a lot longer, and it had like this cool ribbon controller on it that was actually pretty slick. But
I'm looking at it. It looks to me like there's the Rogue, then what was after the Rogue? Starts with a P. Prodigy. It looks like a Prodigy because it has individual. No, it doesn't. Okay. So this is a Rogue. Moog Rogue right here, folks. So what you have are two oscillators that are locked to each other in pitch. You can go plus or minus, and you can change the waveforms. You can change the octaves on one of them, and you can change the interval, but it's relative to the other one. So it's two Moog oscillators, noise, ring mod, and poly. Cutoff has emphasis and amount, which is resonance. It's a resonant filter. It's a ladder. And then it has the whole attack, decay, release, sustain on it, and then finally a release both. This actually was a fantastic sounding synthesizer, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The Moog Rogue is awesome.
The crazy thing that like the Liberation, like the power as well as the actual synth itself kind of thing was actually where the oscillators were on a rack that was connected to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird, or I should say like the CV gate and everything like that was on a rack, I should say. And so you had to plug in on this. It came with like this cable that was like 40 feet long, and you had to plug that in, and that would power it and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just like, and it also weighed a fucking ton. Like
I bet.
It was, I would think, I think it was probably like, I don't know. I want to say like 20, 30 pounds or something like that. It was not a light keyboard, but like, I know that George Clinton played one. As well as like Devo, obviously, that they're popular for that one.
Anything that you might have heard, Winter's Morn. So the Moog Liberation was, I think it was mostly Devo. That's who was famous for using it, right?
Right. Yeah, but it was also like P-Funk. We used them as well.
Gotcha. But really, we're talking an almost mini Moog.
Yeah.
But attached to a keyboard, and it was pretty cool looking. The whole thing had a pretty unique look, but it really kicked it off as far as something being called an actual keytar, and it was awesome and now vintage analog synth.
Right.
These things are great. If you can get one, you have a vintage analog synth, and it's unique because the keytar function, it has like a ribbon on it, I think, to make it a little bit nicer.
And before the keytar, there was the Centaur as well.
Centaur.
Yeah, and that was that was a really small kind of thing. That one never really took off. That was like this little Swedish guy made that.
Centaur. I don't know anything about the Centaur.
Yeah, if I've seen them. I've never heard them or anything like that. But it was like some I think it was it like Electronic Music Laboratory or something like that was the name of the company, and they had this
Centaur.
Yeah, Sintar.
Cyan.
SYN.
Centaur. Okay, now I was going for like Minotaur. Centaur.
Oh, yeah.
Centaur instrument. I'm just Googling it right now because I've never even heard of this. It just comes up with a lot of sitar. Fuck you, Ravi Shankar, again. We'll save my Ravi hate for later.
There you go. Yeah, they weren't very popular because of Liberator. I found a picture of one.
Is that in the Discord?
Yeah, I just put it up in the Discord.
That's the Centaur, huh?
That's a Centaur.
How many of these were made? Is this like a very rare collector's item?
I don't know how many were made, but they're not very common, that's for sure. They're kind of cool looking though. Yeah, I mean they're very.
It is awesome.
It's very like
ergonomic.
Those fucking switches on the neck are like fantastic looking. You can almost hear them going clunk, you know, when you push them. They're like my old VCR from the 1970s. Mm-hmm.
I actually think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This thing looks awesome. I'm not sure I would strap it on though. I think it's almost more awesome just as, hey, this is like a vintage synth. I think, yeah, the Liberation is what he's talking about, and that was early Devo. I think was really the group that used it. The Liberation. Yeah,
Thomas Dolby used it a little bit too. I think Thomas Dolby actually had a Centaur, if I remember correctly.
All right, so I'm gonna say it. I would totally have this guitar. I would have also had the Liberator. I think that both these are totally awesome. But I'm not sure it's because I would use them as a guitar. I think what's given me like the vibe off of it is all the vintage goodness. And since I know it's an adapted Moog Rogue, or realistic, whatever, and this looks like it's going to have some funk under the hood, you know? So I think that's what's really attractive about these.
Sure.
I don't know if it's the guitar portion of it that's so attractive to me. I'm still not sold on the form factor.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, there's I think the thing is that like they're trying to figure out how to make these instruments, you know, interesting and playable when you're holding it like that. Because if you've ever seen like Edgar Winter play his strap-on, I can't get enough of saying that.
Yeah, as soon as you say that, it just screws it up, right? As soon as you say it,
it's like, and if you want to play a strap on, it's just basically it's a keyboard. There's no synth. There's some synth control and everything like that, but it's just like it's not interesting, right? It just looks like he took a keyboard and, you know, threw it over his shoulder.
And that's what he did. He took an ARP 2600 and just drilled two knobs into it, put a strap around it, and he wears it and he plays it.
Yeah. Well, these are actually designed to have a certain, you know, form factor, but also have, you know, because they're looking at it as, you know, as an instrument that people, because if you think about this, finish your sentences, Andrew. If you think about this, the difference between this and like a regular keyboard that you're playing on a keyboard stand is no one actually sees the keyboard. All they're seeing is literally like a thin rectangle, you know. So no one really sees everything. So I think that part of the aesthetic of guitars is the fact that these are made to be seen because you're wearing it and everyone can see what's going on the thing. And so making them look goofy and weird and, you know, sci-fi and futuristic and stuff like that's actually part of the whole thing. Okay. So when you see things like, you know, like the Liberation or the Centaur or like the Axe Edge or even like the Axe 7 and that kind of stuff, I mean, those things all look, you know, they look weird and they look kind of cool. They look a little bit different. And I think that's part of the aesthetic of the whole thing.
That's the whole point of it is to say, okay, well, keyboards are a stationary thing and guitarists, they get to move around on stage and rock out. What if we combine those two things and allowed the keyboard player to be more part of the band in an aesthetic way? And then as soon as you say that, the next thing that happens, you say, all right, what else can we do to make this look cool? Well,
yeah, because you got like the flying V's on electric guitars and stuff like that, and you have all those little designs, and so they do little goofy shit like the, you know, the X7 has the weird little erection thing on there, you know, it's a little bit. Yeah,
I'm totally not opposed, by the way, to making instruments that are going to look cool. I think that's fine. I think that's actually totally valid. I think especially guitars, and thus guitars would inherit that. As long as you're not putting form over the function too much, you're kind of good. By the way,
No,
I
I
do
agree.
want to point out something. So I have a sticker back here, and it is our very own Mew now. It's this one.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. He sent me some stickers. Not only is it on my TD3, it's also there.
Nice.
And if anybody else sends me stickers, I will put them on there and you'll be able to see them as well.
Ooh.
Anybody else has stickers of their brand or logo or anything, get it out here, get it on my record crates, and we'll broadcast them.
Awesome.
All right, so
So the Liberation, also the same year was the Clavitar.
the Clavitar? I've never
Yes.
heard of the Clavitar. Tell me about the
If you've
Clavitar.
seen Herbie Hancock's eponymous rocket video,
I have. Thank you, Doug.
that's yeah, he uses it in there. And also if you saw like the crazy, like I can't remember if it was like an Emmys or something like that had all the synth dudes all playing guitars and shit like that. I think it was like Thomas Dolby and Herbie Hancock and stuff. He's totally playing a Clavitar.
Neat.
Yeah.
So at this point, the philosophy was to take a synth that was cool and find a way to adapt it into a format that could be played as into the guitar form factor.
I
Well,
think the
you're taking
Clavitar though was a controller, if I remember correctly.
That's where the change happened. That's where we started to say, okay, well, this thing's what makes it special is not the sound, it's the form factor. So let something else be the stack of sounds and allow it to control it, right?
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, so what comes next? We come off Clavitar, which is a esoteric kind of controller. We're in the 80s. The 80s, by the way, is the apex for the guitar. It doesn't get better for the guitar than the 80s.
Guitar.
It was peak guitar. It was peak guitar. It didn't
So
work.
I want to find a picture of the Clavitar.
What?
Because it
Is
is
it Yamaha?
definitely-
Is it like a Clavinova?
It sounds like a Soul
No.
Calibur weapon.
I know, right?
Guitar.
It wasn't actually. It was
Yoshimitsu Clavitar.
I can't remember what. I don't know what.
Clavitar.
Davis Company was the name of the company that made the Clavitar.
The Davis. That's way less cool than Yamaha.
I know, right? Yet here we are.
The Davis. What? The Davis.
Okay, it looks like a guitar. That's what's cool about it. Here,
Yeah,
I
it kind of
found,
does. You found,
found like a pretty cool old school image. We'll get that up
there you go. So you got
Actually,
the
a really good picture.
Liberations on the bottom, and then you got the Clavitar on the top, and it's got that kind of like Tron looking kind of shit going on too, with those weird angles and stuff like that. You know,
it's like future retro from the early 80s.
Yeah, it looks like something Automan would have played if you know that show. You're old.
That
like
Liberation, I would still take. That thing's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably take the Clavitar too. Don't get me wrong. As soon as you start getting into vintage, you start changing. There's a whole nother dimension that it starts to bring up. There's a history, nostalgia, but also it
Come on.
still looks neat.
The Moog Liberation, that they really phoned that in.
They did. They absolutely did. They just
There's
like
like,
literally it's
put
the
a
robe
strap
they strapped
on it.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you remember
Put it
that
on.
shit that we sold to Radio Shack? Just put a strap on that. That was fine. It's light, right?
And fuck the SH-101. I mean, that's all I got to say about that.
We're about to get there.
Oh, come on. The nub is pretty sweet.
That's what she said.
Hey.
Oh, hey,
So-
since we are doing the Wayne's World references, I think that deserves a wing.
Thank you.
Showing. All right, so question about the all right, so should we get into the SH-101 or are we skipping ahead too far?
Yeah, we can go to the SH-101, I think. I mean, there's like some other thing, like you see, I think that the difference between like the Keytar and like something like the SH-101 is that the Keytar was designed to be worn, right? That's part of the whole point. The SH-101 or the CZ-101 or the CS-01 by Yamaha, those were all like literally they just put some fucking strap pegs on the thing and called it a day.
Yeah, and they gave it like a little handle, right?
Well, yeah, the 101 they gave you the handle, but if you look
my
at like
God.
the, you know, like or even like the Poly 800 had strap connectors on them.
So
Oh.
here's the thing, though, is yes, you're 100% correct. They totally phoned in the Keytar aspect of the SH-101, but it still managed to be a milestone synth. It's a classic sound.
Sure.
And then
A
that
fucking-
actually kicked off an entire culture for within Roland where they stuck with doing Keytars. They really did. Like it was the front end of everything for them for Keytars, and they still have Keytars that are for sale. They're the main seller of guitars today. I don't think anybody else is really pushing it, right?
Yamaha is and Korg is.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that, but I think that okay. So Yamaha and Korg and Roland, same
Yep.
old story.
Yeah,
I
as the big man. So yeah, the big manufacturers all have a guitar.
They just never would drop it.
They just don't want to. They just don't want to tell people about.
They don't want to
it.
fire that guy because
Just
they
look
like
how
him.
Yeah. I know.
dumb they look, though.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
like
gonna get to modern Roland soon.
Yeah, the SH-101, like I said, it's literally they just that one's totally phoned in. I mean, the numbers
look,
great and everything like that.
This
but
guy's
it's
clearly on stage, right? Probably live. He's got some gaff tape, like on the top there. Probably has like his patch notes, or the patch notes, like the little where he sets everything for a given song. Like he's a professional, and that looks stupid as hell. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing
he's
with your
playing
life?
a guitar is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Someone should
And
have said
he's
no.
having fun playing
and-
his guitar.
And this is just like, yo, the 80s.
Yep.
She's
Gotta love it.
carrying a square,
Yep.
and she's got a lot of neon leopard print.
I had a lot of tape on my guitar as well, but that's because I had a wireless MIDI hanging off the thing and I had to hold it in there somehow.
Nice.
And so I just taped it to my goddamn guitar.
This picture is funny because someone we're going to get to later who's currently selling kind of a boutique guitar also has decided to use sex in their advertising to try to sell the guitar, and it's well
fantastic.
done.
Yes.
I
Look
like
at that.
The one on the
Look, kind of
bottom is pretty
hysterical.
sweet. What is that? Is that
That's
a
a
Casio?
Yamaha. I think that's a
Yamaha,
Yamaha,
okay.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, I remember seeing those.
It's got the
but yeah.
Casio colored buttons.
Yeah, it
The
does. but I think
Weltmeister. There's the Moog. There's the Centaur. I think.
the Feldmeister looks almost. I mean, you also can't forget that the original guitar was really the accordion.
Sure.
So the bottom guitar I think is a DX100.
Oh, let's see.
Oh my God. Okay, is that the one where if you play it, you get your virginity back? Is that the joke I've been making? Is it about that one?
I think it might be.
The buttons
That is
are
an
very
awful looking
close.
thing.
Yeah, and this guy literally just put a strap on his keyboard.
If you play that thing live, that Yamaha, your ex-girlfriends will call you back and tell you that they're rescinding the fact that sex was had.
I will argue that because you heard Lori's squeals of
Yep.
delight when I talked about the guitar. So
That was a legitimate squeal of delight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it
I
was.
thought you've been joking this whole time. But that
she
was
literally
real.
came down. So she literally heard I said guitar. She ran downstairs and she sat here and watched for 10 minutes. She's like, you're gonna like do like a guitar set, are you? And I'm like, no. I'm
She
not.
threw her bra at you, man.
Yeah, see, this is what happens. Like I said, it works. Okay.
Is it a Roland thing? Is it because you have the Roland?
No, it's the guitar thing. She doesn't give a shit about Roland.
Oh. So if you had that Yamaha, you'd get the same reaction?
Yeah, if I had the Yamaha, if I had any of these things.
Fuck the 80s, people, okay? The 1980s make no sense sometimes. Just
Whatever.
none.
The 80s
Whatever.
made perfect sense.
Kid.
Bring me
Max Headroom, cocaine,
Thank
and
you.
stocks.
Blade Runner.
Nothing
Yeah.
made sense until Nirvana showed up in the
It was
90s.
fine.
Okay?
Oh my God.
Damn.
Everything
You-
was fine. Everything was
you,
very
you shut up,
neon.
you, sir. You shut up. You do not know what you're saying.
We had to
You
create an
you had a
entire underground
president
scene to get around.
who would get on and say cool things and in a whispery voice like this, and it was great. Like,
Right?
it was
Nirvana
just
was the
great.
downfall of music. I'm sorry.
That's when
Oh, I
people
loved
stopped
it.
caring.
But then again, I don't think Nirvana was
themselves.
really an answer to the synth guys. I think Nirvana was an answer to the rock guys who went a real different way. Know what I mean?
Well, I think that was an answer to like the glam, like the late 80s glam rockish kind of thing.
Yeah,
If you wanna
exactly.
call that.
And
like,
whereas I think synths and guitars were more like they kind of started to fall off big time once FM really hit hard.
When did Pearl Jam emerge in relation to Nirvana?
After, but not too
After?
long after. I think
Okay,
about
so
a year
they
after
took-
is when you started to
They
see
took
it.
a cue from Nirvana and then just got like really, really, really like.
really bad, really worse.
It's like I like
yourself.
that. They like don't give a shit. I bet we could be like bigger if we just gave less of a shit.
Don't give any shits. That'll teach them.
You guys making fun of Nirvana? Oh
no,
God.
no,
Don't make
not
fun of everybody.
You're
Nirvana.
making fun of Pearl Jam?
I really don't.
God
I
damn
think Pearl Jam might be the only group that I really just actively don't like. I'm
But
pretty
there's
okay with
country
most
music,
everything
It
else.
exists.
Country music is a thing that I don't listen to, but I don't like despise it. I don't actively hate it. I just don't listen to it.
But Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam makes me angry. I hear it and I'm just like, oh fuck you. Why were you a thing?
Okay, we're gonna have to parse that, and we're gonna bring David Miner on for that show to talk about Pearl Jam.
You guys can have your grunge show. I'll take the night off because I don't have anything good to say about that shit.
All right, so well, I don't know why David Miner. I just went on his show one time, and I started bugging him about
Well, he just said that he said Pearl
I
Jam is one
know,
of his favorite bands. So
it's like the only point of contention with a lot of my group of friends is that a lot of them do like Pearl Jam. I understand that Pearl Jam is a technically competent group that wrote a lot of music that was very well received, and they made a shitload of money and were very popular. Something about what they do just bothers me at my core. But I understand that I'm probably in the minority there. That's okay.
you're not. High five.
Yeah.
High five. Go. High five.
Oh,
Hi.
There it is.
Y5.
Y5.
Yep.
Y5.
High five. That was nice. I like that.
We're gonna put a pin in the Pearl
That's
Jam
horrible.
thing and keep moving on with guitars
Yeah,
because we got
pin it-
more to go.
pin it preferably with like one of those long needles from Voodoo Dolls. So yeah, DX100. And then
DX, is it an FM synth, that Yamaha thing?
yeah,
DX100. Let's see. Are they on reverb?
checking now. Nope, nothing.
My wife
there.
ain't leaving me anytime soon, so I want a DX100. I think I can push harder. Oh God, no! Just leave that one on the table. All right, X. God damn it! I need to watch what I say sometimes. Yamaha DX100. You can get it for $275.
Dude.
Oh yeah, it's not pretty.
It's not a good synth, huh?
No. It's a little. This is the FM synth. The only thing that made it a keytar was, again, it had the knobs on there, the strap-on knobs. That's all it had as far as that's concerned, I think.
It's a 4-operator with 8 fixed algorithm FM synths. You still have to go through the hellacious programming scheme that you had to do on the DX7.
You can get yourself an OS version 1.1 EEPROM firmware kit for only $20. Look at that.
Swing.
You have to be so into FM and keytars to modify this thing.
I think you need to hit up Funk Dweeby's Gear Depot and Upgrades from Toronto, Canada. He'll hook you up.
There you go. So that also brought in like the Yamaha SHS series, which is the current line of Yamaha's keytars, and they have like mini keys and they look horrible.
That sounds about right.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Like I would like when we were at NobCon, I would imagine they had like 12 of them sitting over there.
This one's
and
kind of got
one
that
would know.
like
Well, you saw this one in music videos a lot. Bad ones.
This
Yeah.
is like very Nordish in design.
Yeah, kind of. They
I
come in all
like
these
it.
different colors though. But it's
still
like
exist.
yeah, that's their current line that they're making are the SHSs.
That looks
This
nice.
is amazing.
I like it. It's not sexy, but it looks
No, it's not.
functional.
I think actually they don't call them the SHSs in the States. They're called sonogenics. in the States
Sonogenic,
now.
yeah, and it looks more like a
Sonogenic.
flute. It's with got mini keys.
Yeah.
What are those things called? The electronic blowy thingies?
The harmonicons.
No.
Oh, like
thing-
the
What are
wind
they
Equal has one.
controllers.
Yeah,
What are those called?
thought it was a harmonicon.
Because we
Equal
have
has
we
one.
have an untapped market here. We need to have a keytar with one of those built in.
Like a wind controller.
Yeah.
So like a wind controller. Like
Yeah.
Roland makes those. Yeah.
Yeah. But
They're
don't
called
they have
wind
a cool
controllers.
name? Just
They're
wind
called wind
controller.
controllers.
Oh,
You
that's,
can,
that's
sorry.
weak.
Yeah. You know.
Harmonic.
We're talking
guitar.
about keytars here.
Yeah. I'm talking about the next evolution in keytars.
There you go. Thank you, Glacial 23, the MIDI melodica.
Melodica, there you go.
That's what you're looking
Melodica.
for.
That's it.
That's what I was looking for. That sounds much more catchy.
If anyone can make one, Glacial 23. Your
Nice.
task.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That sounds like something that you'd pick up in, like, the 5th dungeon in a Zelda game.
I know,
That's
right?
way cooler.
Or
The
if
wind
you go-
controller. It's like, okay,
the wind
well,
controller. Yeah, but the MIDI melodica.
I am the wind controller.
Sounds like something you buy on a Paya catalog to put together yourself in the backyard. So yeah,
This thing does look like a Zelda prop. Like you play a sequence of notes on it and a door opens.
it kind of or it looks like the sword from Final Fantasy. Like it looks like that ridiculous kind of like form factor.
David Miner
Yeah.
gives the
Wind
vote of
controller
confidence.
equals butthole.
He plays
Hope
sax,
you're
so I gotta
drinking.
imagine that he's not a big
Butthole.
fan of the wind controllers because they're probably not natural feeling or
all
something.
the wind controllers need to make their way to Cleveland.
I've seen the only
butthole convergence. The
Right?
butthole convergence event is here.
I think when I saw Information Society in 1993, the dude did a wind controller solo. It was awesome.
Oh, that's low.
Best 2 hours I've watched. A dude, the singer, run roller skates, all kinds of crazy shit. It was a great show. Loved it.
That's pretty low. I like
Oh, it was good. I loved it.
it.
Anyway,
There's
I
a
love
0%. I love music gear, guys. There's a 0% chance I would even give this a shot. I'm just telling you right now. I'm looking at it, and this thing looks like it would be just awful to try to music on.
Dude, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because you could show up on stream, right? And be like, hey guys, I just made a new jam. Check it out.
Bust out your
I mean-
guitar.
A bunch of people would reconsider their life choices if I did that.
Look
They'd
at
be
that.
like, maybe we don't
Look at
like jams.
Isn't that an imposing figure right there?
and
with-
melodica.
Well, the melodica's cool. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
melodica.
Deco plays on melodica. I've seen him do that.
Deco plays some melodica, and there's
Mhm.
delightful melodica videos of they're really catchy. It's kind of like when dudes want to make a tiny ukulele video, but they're not cute girls, so they play melodica, right?
I'll have you know, I've never actually seen DQuill play as melodica. I've heard him play it live even, but I've never seen it. It's never emerged onto the camera. He's always like huddled in a corner, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's got mics
there's
off to
this
the side.
delightful sound that's happening all around me. But what's he doing? He's playing the melodica. Is he though? And then
Yeah,
he
I'm-
walks away from the corner, and I don't see anything
So
there.
once again, this was you're talking about the need for a keyboard and guitar combination. This is literally the need of an accordion and a bagpipe.
I think melodica is kind of cool. I don't know that I would get one because I don't have those kind of keyboard skills, but I might. I mean, that
yeah.
that also is probably inexpensive. It's not like a huge commit.
No, they're like $50. I
Oh,
mean,
crazy.
yeah.
Martin Gore played one, so you can do it.
What's this person's name? She's a techno producer and live jammer. Georgia and
Angeli.
Yeah, her.
And she's great.
And she's rocking the wind controller.
Fuck yeah! Don't knock the
hers
wind
is more
controller.
like a wind, like it's big, like a hurricane controller. Look at that
I
thing.
know
It's like a
Soma Lab-
cannon.
Soma Labs made a weird wind controller.
Really?
Yeah. It's still on their website. Let me take a look.
That thing is weird. That looks like it's it looks like it actually makes real noise, not in a prop way or controller style way. It looks like the horn and bell would make actual sound. That's kind of neat. Okay, back to guitars. Where are we at on guitars?
The
We look
pipe.
at the end of the
pipe.
80s.
That's what that thing's called.
The
The
pipe
pipe.
dynamic
pipe.
effects processor.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Was it an
that's-
effects processor?
Bizarre looking.
synthesizer. I'm really
That's
curious.
here I
About,
am. Nothing.
I'm really curious
pre-existing.
about seeing what the fuck that thing is all about.
Yeah, it's just like metal
Soma,
bars that you can twist.
Soma guys are weird. Okay, I mean they're insane,
And yo, what's up with the 5-pin? They have a
right?
5-pin in on there.
Fuck yeah.
What?
Yeah, I kind of really want one of those.
All right, what's it
Yeah,
called?
I kind of
again?
do too. And
That's
like
the
one of the
pipe.
settings on there is radiation.
Yeah, and then Russian, so you can only imagine how good that's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's get a link on there. Oh, we're looking at the Soma now. Okay.
Yeah.
That thing's cool. I would totally get that. I thought you were talking about I thought you were saying the Georgia and Julie one was.
No, you can have it
Was
for the
that
low, low
effects
price of
processor?
only $640.
Woo-wee. I don't know if I wanted that bad.
I would.
I would too.
I've spent
Oh,
more
here-
money.
Here's the
Good shit.
names the names of the algorithms on there. The Orpheus, the Filtera
Ooh.
synth reverb,
Synth. Reverb.
Modele pulse bass drum,
delay.
switchable bass drum, bass drum and snare, Octava
Octava.
generator, and Harcho.
Here's what I imagine the bass drum and snare is. It's like beatboxing, but you have to blow into something.
All right, I need to know what this thing is. We're gonna. Do they have like a demonstration or no? Not so much.
The
I
demonstration.
have to look it up on other YouTubes.
Mm.
By the way, that Summa Pulsar 23 is pretty tasty. Yeah, that's not this show.
Oh,
No.
I've been dreaming about that one for a while. I don't know when, but it's
It looks like
That's
it's going to be
probably-
pretty slick.
gonna be a 2021 thing. I think it's really slick. Yeah.
I did buy the Quantum Motion from them because I was really curious about what the fuck that thing was all about, and I'm still don't understand what it's all about.
Hey, whenever you feel like engaging curiosity, you have a black box there you can jump into.
Did anyone ever
Fingers
get
on.
a Lyra 8?
I know Sean has one.
Sean has one. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
he has
I've
his
played before.
MS-20
It's
plugged into
fun.
it.
It's insane. It's great.
I was always curious.
Yeah. It's weird because it's like it's so organic that it almost doesn't make sense because it's just like it's constantly evolving kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like these like eternal patches that just like, where am I? What am I doing? You know?
Eight voice analog synthesizer for drones, noise, and ambience.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Basically what it is.
Sign me up.
Woo. So that's like those are the big ones as far as guitars are concerned, from the 80s and everything like that. And and of course once the horrors of grunge came about, that was kind of the death knell for guitars.
Yeah, guitars really had no place in grunge.
No, I mean you would see them once in a while at Pet Shop Boys concerts. Like
Yep.
Chris Lowe supported one in like 92, 93. But that kind of thing, probably Erasure, because Vince Clarke is a synth god, and fight me if you disagree, because
He
Mhm.
probably had
wrong.
one stapled to the ceiling.
Of his little synth rig that he had.
Yeah.
Or he was riding, I think he was actually might have been riding around on the Swans with one. Maybe.
You
Oh,
will
that
get
era,
no
okay.
fights from me.
Yeah, I love
So-
Vince. So
The
that kind of
guitar
like
also didn't need to really continue to innovate is the thing, because once it became a controller, you could
Right.
innovate on the sound, and then it just became, did you nail the keypad? And honestly, we've had really good keypads since the 70s. That's something that we've known how to do, and you can pay for one, and that it can be good, or you can get a really cheap shit one. And so there hasn't been a need for a huge amount of innovation, but there have been a few things that have come out that are cool and that are different.
Right. So here's the thing with that though. All right. So I mean, I think that once they became MIDI controllers, and that was pretty much, whoop-de-doo. Everything after that was just like, how are we going to shell this and make it look different? Like when Prince did his like Purple Axe guitar.
Yeah.
Or like Lady Gaga,
Purple
has her custom made guitar. I mean, they're just like skinning these things basically. But I think that really the problem is that it's, while guitar players and stuff like that were able to get like wireless rigs and stuff along those lines, there wasn't much in the way of wireless MIDI.
Yeah,
So using
that's
these
true.
things as controllers, you're still tripping over a cable and everything like that. And it's just, MIDI's not held in as well as a guitar cable anyway. It's just literally like, pressure in a dream. So I think
You
that
could put a clip or something. I can imagine that's solvable.
Lots
That's
of tape.
something- Lots of tape is how it's done.
Lots of fucking tape. That's what I had to do. But yeah, so it was just kind of a pain in the ass as far as that kind of thing is concerned. So it wasn't really until like more recently, when guitars, I think that was mostly just like 80s came back kind of thing, and like they were just trying to cash in on it, is when the guitars started coming back.
They're
with
like,
the
you mean we don't
AX1.
have to really change the design at all?
Yeah,
Sweet.
really. I mean, the AX7. I mean, I don't like the keyboard on this thing at all. It's horrible. It
So let's
feels
show it
like
off.
garbage.
Give it a spin. Harass it a little bit.
All right. So
Treat it in a way that would get you sued if it were a human.
That thing's thick.
Oh yeah.
EHICC.
That's a thick
as my niece
boy.
would say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you could, it runs on 6 AA batteries.
I'm gonna pass that joke. Just gonna walk right past it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
well,
far as the
All the good ones plug in nowadays, Dan. You should know that.
wireless MIDI is totally a thing these days.
Yeah. Yeah, bought a wireless MIDI device in like 2005, and I used it. And there's actually a little
Is
a
it the
little
Yamaha?
bag. This was an M Audio.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, a little baggy thing that attaches on your strap. That I just put that in there and then just run the cable.
Nice.
But I mean, this is literally just there's like a Roland MIDI controller that was out for a long time that everyone had, but I never did. It was like a like a layerable MIDI controller thing. I can't remember which one it was. My old keyboard player had one, but it's pretty much the same thing as that thing was. They just skinned it, literally. So, it's the exact same display. They just, they just flattened it down. They just, brought it so you can see it, but all the same controls and everything like that as this Roland keyboard. And they put the dumb D-Beam on there. Sorry, guys. I know you like the D-Beam, but
D-Beam's so good.
I know.
D-Beam rules, man.
All right.
We only sound like we're being sarcastic because other people have contextualized for everyone else when you say nice D-Beam, it to be sarcastic. But I'm
Right.
pretty sure both Co and I think that D-Beams fucking rock.
Sure.
Unironically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It just sounds like we're being sarcastic when we sincerely say we love D-Beams.
Yeah, I couldn't find a use for it, but I'm not looking for making DB music, I guess.
Also,
But
it's not a guitar, which literally like that's the funny thing to me. Like the guitar is, hey, I'm going to play this thing in a performance-oriented way. The D-Beam is, I'm going to play this thing in a performance-oriented way. If you put them together, it's like, did they think it was that they were going to stack?
Yeah, it's like two different
How
performance styles.
performer you're going to get?
Yeah.
You know?
He's gonna be so much. He's gonna have all the performance.
It's
The other
gonna
thing
be
about the only thing
black
that
hole of performance.
always the downside of this is like, the guitars should always be mono synths
fascinating.
Why?
because playing it with two hands is stupid.
Does it hurt?
Okay.
It just you can't really hold on to it very easily, and when you have it strapped, when the straps around you and it's like moving all over the place while you're trying to play it like that without
But
having
there
to
is a modern innovator who is working to change that. We'll get to her though.
yes there is.
We
But
will
I mean,
definitely
as far as this standard guitar style guitar, then yeah, it to me it makes more sense to be a mono synth, or you're playing just a right hand chords kind of thing or something like that. But
All right, so that's the AX series.
this is the AX,
the AX7.
This is the AX7. Yeah,
Those go for what, like $500 or so? Still, they sold those at Sam Ash when I was there.
yeah, they were for like 500 or something. That's how much I got mine for. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I got this in 2004. I want to say
That's the Tech 1200s of keytards. That is pretty much the standard one because it was out for so long and is what most people who are currently play. Although there have been other ones that have come out since then. I would bet that that's
12
the longest running
guitars.
bestseller.
probably. Because then there was also they released the AX synth as well after they got rid of the AX7. Well, let's go back here because they had the AX. I think it was the AX1 first, and then they did the AX7, and they
What
looked
happened
almost
to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Ask Roland. They're the ones that come up with these janky ideas, not me.
At least it wasn't like AX 101, AX 909.
Oh my god, I wouldn't be surprised. But they did like the AX1, and then they did the AX7, and I think the only difference was probably some of like the performance buttons on it were different or something like that.
Yeah,
I think the AX1 was black, and then the AX7 was white. So that was out. That came out, and then they did the AX synth, which was just instead of a controller, they had a synth in it as well. And that one was pretty popular as well. You can usually see those. Those are on. You can get those on Reverb for about like $600 nowadays.
I think that's out now, right?
I don't think they run. I don't think they do the AX7s anymore,
Didn't that?
or the AX synths. I think that this got replaced by the AX Edge.
Okay, Axe Edge is what's out now. Then.
Yeah.
Got it. Axe Edge is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Axe Edge takes the concept of the AX7. It makes some things a little bit better, but really you're kind of talking about the same instrument, but in just a more modernized form factor. The biggest change is that it includes the synth. Sorry.
And it also has Bluetooth.
Oh, it does. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So you can do, so you can Bluetooth that, which that's cool. But I really wish they would just like integrate like wireless MIDI into the thing. Because Bluetooth is great, but once you walk more than 5 feet away from your shit, then you're like,
How would integrated wireless MIDI work? How would you get it to what would you receive to, or would it come with a dongle or something?
Maybe it'd come with a dongle, or it'd come with like a transmit, like a receiver or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, I just feel it like this kind of thing that doesn't make sense to me not to have something that's built into it to do this transmitting thing, because, you know, if you're going to battery power this thing and you're going to make it so like you can walk around the stage with it, then then you're like, nope, just kidding, you have to have this cable, and if you know, and it will fall out like every time you sneeze, then yeah, I think that's the downside of it.
So that's interesting. Roland, on all of their gear that I have of theirs that requires some kind of a cable that is critical to the function of the system, like the MX1, the DJ808, the TR8S, all of those have cable loops.
Sure. They have cable loops on the AX7 for the power, so if you want to plug it in.
Okay, but nothing for signal.
And drag your wall wart behind you.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Then yeah, that works.
They thought that went through.
Oh no, yeah, tell me about it. But I'm looking at the Axe Edge, and I don't think there is any. No, there's not. There's not any cable loops on that thing at all. It's like they gave up on us. They failed us.
They're just like, whatever. Just throw it through your strap. All right, guys. Just run through the strap, curl it up like a guitarist,
figure it out.
Fuck up.
Right.
This has nothing to do with anything at all. But Girl Geek had mentioned something. I looked it up and I stumbled across this image and just needed to share it. Hell yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah,
That guy is
that's lovely.
shredding. That is a tiny sound hole.
Tiny sound hole. I love it. The technical term.
So yeah, the Axe Edge does have a vocoder in it though as well.
Ooh, see?
I like
They're
that.
using their big brain. They just need to take it from vocoder and add melodica as well. Vocoders, and that's basically, you're almost there. That's great.
Yeah, I know, right? Totally.
But yeah, I mean, you're already swinging the thing around. You might as well put a hose in your face and just, you know, it's not. What are you going to be doing? Singing backup vocals? Come on.
Yeah, no, right?
You're the guitar player.
In the face.
What are you in the Jets?
Yeah, that's no.
Okay, so looking at that thing, the balalaika, that seemed actually like a lot of fun and a totally weird instrument, and I would definitely like to have one day. I just want
no love for the guitar, huh?
Still no love for the guitar, but there is one that we're going to talk about in a minute that I'm absolutely going to eventually get.
I don't know, man. The Axe Edge is pretty cool. You can even get different colored axe edges for your guitar.
The Axe Edge is, if you're going to play guitar today, I think that's what you got to go with. It's
and
cool.
I think
the synth on it is actually pretty good if you just want to play in a band.
Yeah.
You get it like in an amp and you'll be shredding.
Oh yeah. If I was replacing my guitar, I would probably replace it with the Axe Edge. I
would only ever use it as a controller, so I don't need that. Although I do kind of like the way it looks, so the Axe Edge is kind of neat. I guess from that perspective.
There's a contrabass balalaika.
Oh yeah, you've never seen that? That's huge.
Does it have a tiny sound hole?
It has a tiny sound hole.
It does have a tiny sound hole. There it is. Look at that tiny sound hole.
Tiny sound hole, eh?
Oh man, that is.
Put that tiny sound hole nearby, and let's talk a little bit.
That is something. Dude's playing a Dorito with a neck.
In a tiny sound hole.
A tiny sound hole.
Hold me closer, tiny sound hole.
With a flower around it. Do they all have the flowers around it? And then like the little.
Gotta have the flower.
Well, you gotta have the brown flower around your tiny sound hole.
In Cleveland.
All right, if you have a balalaika contrabass, you have to have a shirt that allows you to play it. And it has to be that shirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
I don't know why, but you cannot play it properly without that shirt.
No.
It's a uniform.
Yeah.
Yep. It comes with that shirt.
Yeah, that's what they won't let you play it without it. Let's face it.
Highway
has a dress code.
I missed it. How did we get to the Hershey Highway? Where was that jump?
The Hershey Highway is where you go to look for the chocolate starfish.
Oh God, I know. Welcome to Gear-Splaining, folks.
This episode is just like falling right the fuck apart, isn't it?
A sphincter says what?
A sphincter says what?
We're all tired.
Oh, damn.
The best Axe Edge video I've seen is definitely probably Gaz Williams's review on Sonic Talk.
Yep.
Or on Sonic Lab, where he gets all, dude, you're obsessed.
Dude with the
Like-
accordion's killing it though. Look at him. He's hyping the crowd.
Well, yeah, someone's gotta. It ain't gonna be the dude playing that big old chocolate starfish.
Yep.
Dorito
Or the
thing.
person playing the chocolate dipped Nella wafer there.
Oh yeah, the chocolate dip potato chip back there.
Yep.
Is there
Not even
like
midnight.
video of these guys? Can we hear this band? I know this has nothing to do with guitars.
I don't know who this band is, unfortunately.
All right, we need to do a reverse image search and find out who these guys are
I'll
somehow.
take care of that.
All right. While you're taking care of that, I'm going to reveal the guitar that I think I would probably like to have.
The guitar of the future.
The guitar of my being a cheap ass, and I think that it would actually be kind of fun. It is the Rock Band guitar.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
actually. You know what's really funny is that one is actually one of the top guitars.
Yep. It is the one that it's inexpensive and it actually totally works. It's got MIDI, it looks like a guitar, you get all the guitarness out of it, and you can get them for like 20 bucks. So if you don't ever play it, you're not like out 300 bucks if you bought the Yamaha thing.
See, girl geek, you've got your guitar.
This dude's got an electric contrabass, bala whatever. That's awesome.
Balalaika. This is amazing.
Oh, look at all the chocolate dipped Nilla wafers.
Right?
Ooh,
This-
ooh, he's bringing the funk.
This is awesome. This guy can shred on this.
You just can't pick it up.
Oh yeah, there's the muse.
He's in the pocket, man.
Bass guitarist leading the band. Look at that.
It's because they can't put them anywhere else.
Oh man, they got flutes. I'm messing around.
And chocolate potato chips.
This band rules.
I think I saw this band at like an like at
Rib
a
Fest or
Krampus night,
something.
a Krampus night a few years ago.
What's the person in the back playing?
That's like the auto harp thing or something like that.
Is it? It
They're rocking that on that
It
there
didn't look
too.
String
quite
guitar,
steel guitar.
pedal
She's
steel?
like more strumming it.
The guy who's playing accordion looks totally like he plays accordion, but he rocks. He's got hammer pants.
Totally.
I have absolutely nothing whatsoever negative to say about this. I think
Nope.
these guys rule, and I'm going to be listening to them tomorrow at work. Anybody who's having this much fun with music gets a total A+ in my book. You get gold stars. I have no idea what the name is though, but I bet you if I just Google contrabass balalaika action, I'll find him.
Oh, I like the person. Oh wait, no. Okay, she is playing clarinet or something. For a while, she's just bouncing around. I'm like,
She's
so
the
she's
dancer.
the hype. They're getting it wrong. The hype person is in the back.
It's because no one can get in front of that goddamn Dorito.
Yeah, no, right? That's the problem. Is its shape makes it very hard to maneuver around.
They
the
have
stage.
chocolate dipped Doritos too.
Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. I think that like that thing might have its own like mass that pulls.
They're Russian.
Yeah, they are. FeelRussia.com.
I always feel Russia.
.com. I'm more of a .org guy, but
Whoa, look at
They
him.
have
He's
a
picking the
director?
whole Dorito up.
There it is.
Is he gonna smash it? Smash it!
Throw it at somebody. Do it.
Oh, that was really great.
Wow.
I quite
Wow.
enjoyed that a lot. Sorry for the interruption.
he totally smashed it on the ground. Okay. I
That
know that
was-
had nothing to do with guitars, but I don't care. That was awesome.
He was done. He was done. You're done talking about guitars anyway.
That smashed. That was good. That was real good. I think that those guys are great. Can't wait to watch more. I hope that they're like more successful and they have like recordings that aren't like a cell phone recording and have like really good proper audio, because I will totally listen to that. That was pretty sweet.
I
Thank
think Dan's
you.
going to produce their
people.
next album.
Hell yeah! If I had time, I would.
There you go. I think if you just found your next calling instead of actually doing what you're doing right now.
Dmitry Kalinin is who this is. Link posted. Subscribed. Russian style folkestra is who the
Folkestra.
They're a
Oh man,
folkestra.
it's good. They need to add a melodica to their folkestra.
They totally do. That's
Oh
why
my
they
God.
have the director, because
Yeah.
they're a folkestra. You got to have someone to direct the folkestra.
It's true.
Well, that is outstanding. Thank you,
Wow.
Girl Geek. That
Yeah,
was
for
the
sharing that.
highlight of the night.
That's something else.
All right, back to guitars. There are a few on the market now that are pretty cool, I guess. There is the Axe Edge. The Axe Edge. Then there's the Elise's Vortex. I think Abe Bridgewater brought that one up earlier. That one, I think its cool thing is it's like got pads and some knobs on it, so you
That
can.
one's been out for a while too.
All of them have been out for a while. Yeah, the Axe
Well, I mean,
Edge, I
that-
think, is the newest one.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean,
it's like getting on 4 years old.
Axe Edge, yeah. But I mean, I think that Elise's one's been out for like 6 or 7 years now. It's been out there for a bit.
Ooh, it includes a virtual synth if you buy it. The Expand 2. Yeah. Way to package your product with something that's going to help
Yeah.
drive it. Elise's.
Oh man. Oh Nelly.
I love Elise's.
Oh, Elise's.
They're just great.
With your quadriverbs. Who else is in the market today?
Nori.
Roland, Elise's. Yes. Well, that's what we got to cover. All right.
Oh
so
yeah.
before we get
This
into Nori.
is the one. This is the one that I want to get. I'm just saying.
So we're going to talk about Nori, and I want to tell everyone that if you are offended by pictures of show, and that's probably the least
Wait,
likely
we
thing
don't
for you to expect.
we don't know what it is that we're offended by. You said if you guys are offended by
Oh,
internet
that's
poop.
actually kind of perfect. All right, so you come into Gear-Splaining for a certain thing, and that certain thing usually isn't scantily clad women. I'm just putting that out there. That's not really what we do. This is the Keytar Show, and you probably expected the Keytar Show to not go there, but you'd be wrong. Because there's a boutique maker, and they're making, guitars that their
as you
marketing is
do.
all the lead designer holding on to their product in various states of undress. So this is I don't know how to explain it. This is Sex Sells Guitars. They're trying
Yeah, Nomi Abadi is her name. And
Nope.
yep.
Apologies. This is no longer I guess good for 12-year-olds or something. I don't know, beats me. This is Gear-Splaining After Dark. Let's do it. Let her roll. Let her rip. Don't usually see these kind of images on Gear-Splaining.
What am I ripping?
The Nori.
The Nori.
The link. Scroll back in the Discord to see the half-naked woman.
Half naked. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Never mind that. The guitar alone is just amazing.
It looks like a really good instrument. Yeah.
I know, right? It's like
They do need to change their little favicon though, because it still says WordPress, and that bothers me.
You're looking at that?
Yeah.
Just kidding. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are
Wow,
you gonna
they
do?
really just embraced the whole sex sells thing, huh?
yeah.
They are literally selling guitars based on sex.
Yeah.
That is what they are doing. That is
Which
their.
is absurd and amazing at the same time.
That's
It's
a good,
almost like
that's a good arrangement
like Dolly
though,
painted
with,
this.
with
Yeah.
the two key beds like that.
There's like
Yeah.
the hot guitar Victorian era. There's hot glam. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can
So-
play you can play chords on that very easily.
Yeah,
You
so
can play,
this thing's
obviously,
actually
two-handed.
relatively innovative. It has two keyboards, and one of them is flipped over, so it actually fits with your hands. So that's one of the biggest problems with a normal guitar. You have a normal key bed. Well, that's great for your right hand, or for your right hand, but your left hand, it doesn't work that way. It's not you gotta reach all the way over, or you end up playing like this, and that's no fun. Well,
Oh.
this allows you to sit in a more ergonomic position.
Girl Geek made a great observation. It looks like a Benny Benassi video.
It does look like a Benny Benassi video. Like
I
he's
liked it.
making fun of it.
It's a good styling though. It's whoa! I like the glitter plexi on the surface. Glitter. What the hell is it? Acrylic on the surface. That's
Yeah.
great. It
So
adds
she
a
nails
nice-
a few things.
Hmm?
Walk past it. She nails a few things on the design. The first is, I think she knows that keytars are an aesthetic thing, and so she leaned into that on the design. Yeah, the acrylic, the glitter within the acrylic looks really good. And then she also figured out ergonomically that if you flip it over for the left hand, you can actually play it better, and then you can actually have like a much better keyboard style experience. She figured those things out, and I don't know what those buttons do, but it looks like they're the same, just like kind of flipped around. So I bet they're either assignable or they're pretty standard transport or something. So this
Everything's
is
pretty
the
vague because it's still like everything is still prototyping. It looks like.
new site is coming soon.
I'm checking out the Facebook for it right now.
Join the Keytar revolution. Maybe rejoin it. Oh, I like that.
Maybe.
The red one's very nice.
Yeah, the red one's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's neat. I like it.
I
like it
think
a
if I
lot.
were to do it, I would go with the gray one with the sparkles.
I
could see
definitely do
that.
The red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like the
this
red.
is a throwback. We're looking at keytars earlier. There was one picture that I saw. I'll try to dig it up and post it in there.
I
And
wonder.
it was like 1980s girl. Like briefly, they tried to use sex to sell keytars. And they kind of gave up on it.
I wonder if
briefly it did happen.
if they could just have a mounting point on both sides of the main keyboard, and then that
So
way
you can like slot it in and out.
you
so
just
can-
flip it the other direction if you're left-handed. Yeah, that'd be kind of awesome.
Keytar history, maybe. Where did I see this picture? Because this does remind me of one old advertisement for Keytar, and they had like a 1980s rocker babe playing a guitar. That's like the closest thing. Literally every other picture online is of like a dude playing a guitar.
Let's see.
All right, I'm not gonna find it, so I'm giving up.
Who is
Picture of
this
Devo with all
person?
these mokes. That's kind of cool.
Yep, the liberations.
Yeah. Actually, a really cool picture.
This is the guitarist. Whose
Like, do we
namesake
think
is
that
this thing.
guitars? I'm all for things that are going to get more women into making music and making music with gear. Does this do that? Does it keep more women out?
Well, I
Do
mean,
men buy this because they see that woman? Like, what's
at the
what's
same token, though,
messaging here?
she's playing it. I mean, she actually does play it. She's a designer for this thing, right?
And
So
that's
this is,
awesome.
and this
more
is
power
this is
to
and
her.
this
That's
and
awesome.
this is and this is the, and she's also the person who runs this company. So this is her decision to do this.
I'm
This
all
is
in
her
on all
decision
that.
well, I'm just saying. I mean, this is her. This is how she thinks that she's going to sell these things. Now, if she's going to sell these things to 12-year-old boys, or if she thinks that she's progressing this, to a wider audience, I don't know. I think the device looks interesting. It looks innovative, but yeah, I don't think that her selling technique isn't going to really push it very far.
So, all applause to her for designing and launching Keytar. That can't be interesting, especially with the new take on it. The general psychology behind using sex in marketing is one of two things: to either attract the male gaze in order to convince them to make a purchase, or to for girls who want to idolize them. So you have teen pop stars, especially. They don't make good music, but you have wayward teenage girls who want to be like them, and then they buy the makeup or whatever, and that's its own kind of little insidious marketing industry. Tiger Beat magazine, all that shit, right?
Right.
This doesn't seem to fit into either one of those categories.
No, I agree.
Well, it's a keytar to begin with. So like you already have this niche audience, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
Does this expand that audience? Do you get past gear enthusiasts and musicians into like the because normally you see this kind of imagery, it's like sell beer, it's sell
I think
kind of
Right.
transactional things.
I think it's just riding the next wave because everything comes cyclically, and I think the guitar is it's fine to come back now. Like it had its dip, right? It was an 80s thing, and then it disappeared, and now here we are many years later. It's time. It's okay. You
God
can
damn
bring
it,
one
it came
back.
back again.
Yeah.
Well, I think that like really the guitar is a niche of a niche of a niche
Yeah.
in the end,
Yeah.
right? Because like electronic music is a niche, and this kind of alternative styles of musical interfacing is a niche, and the guitar itself is a niche on top of all that.
Yeah,
So if
You want to be a live, flamboyant, performing introvert.
right,
Like-
which is basically you just
Wait, what?
basically you just basically explain me, period.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I do. That's my
You're
that's
a
my
white elk. There are not many of you.
right, exactly. And this isn't something that's and amazes me that there are as many guitars available in the world as there are. Like the people are manufacturing these
Somebody's
things.
buying these things.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I don't know, man. I think there's a chance that just like large corporations like Roland just keep them in. When I worked at Sam
They're-
Ash, we had that Roland AX 7 there, and we had one, and we had it for years and never sold it.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
they're
the
available.
budgets at Roland Corporation and others are just so big that they have entire departments that nobody knows actually exist.
I wonder if maybe
Yeah,
they're
something like that.
yeah, I wonder if it's just like we've got this shit laying around, let's just put this out kind of thing. We've got these parts sitting here, they're not doing anything.
Oh yeah, it
You
could be one of
know.
those. It could be one of those.
Like a grandmother.
What do they call those? There's a specific type of product that is never expected to sell, but it's put out to create buzz.
Yeah, maybe. But it was funny because it's like when we were at Moogfest last year, Roland had their booth there, and they had the Axe Edge there for sale, and it was on sale, and everyone ignored the shit out of it, right? Except me and my buddy Richard are just standing there, and we're like, should we get that? Like we were sitting there, we were debating, should we get that? I mean, seriously, should we get one?
By the way-
We talked about it for like 10 minutes before we're like, no, we probably shouldn't.
Missed opportunity. Roland should be releasing a Zen guitar, Zen Core powered.
And it should,
guitar.
and it should look like a ukulele.
Sure.
The Axe Edge is kind of that. It should look like a ukulele. It took me a minute to get the whole joke.
Thank you.
Oh God.
Make sure you picked up on that.
Yep. But the Axe Edge, I think, was like it's not ACB, but it's just the Roland sound set. Here's the thing: the
Yeah.
Zen Core thing. I got that MC101, right? I know what's on there. Those sounds, those are the
Mhm.
same. Like, there's some new sounds. Mostly, those sounds are the same sounds that Roland has used and just been adding to for decades. It is
I was gonna
the
say.
same thing that's on the Roland Phantom, and that's fine. I don't think they should toss it. I bet if you have a modern Triton, it has inherited a lot of the sounds from Tritons that came out 20 years ago, right? I think that's pretty common, but there's nothing like the Zen Core thing. It's not like ACB, which was a philosophy of how to generate the sound. ACB was like, let's really get detailed with the modeling. It's PCM based, and there may be some philosophy around it, but the philosophy that you're really buying when you get it, according to
It's-
Roland and their weird ukulele
it's
things,
ACB
interoperability.
It's ACB 2.0. They just decided to rebrand it.
Yeah.
It's a new chip.
Kinda.
It's a new chip. It's some fancier, more efficient algorithms. It consumes less power. That's
But
kind
it
of
doesn't model. It's PCM based. It's not. There is a small modeling engine for an analog on it.
It's the same thing as ACB. There was nothing about ACB that was magic.
But there's nothing about ACB that's PCM, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. What's that memory on there for then? Because I have taken apart my Roland machines that are ACB, and they sure as fuck have a pair of NAND flash, or not NAND flash, but probably SRAM flash, sitting flanking the ACB chip. So just saying, it's got sound banks on there for sure. It's got primers, and the Zen Core is no different. It's the same thing.
Really?
It's just new. It's new, fancier. Maybe they couldn't source the chips for ACB anymore. It's like shit,
Well-
guys. We got to make a new one.
What they said was, as a sound generating thing, it's actually less sophisticated than ACB. It allows you less control over parameters. It doesn't model. Instead, what it's doing is it is unabashedly mostly PCM. You're talking about sound sets. Some of the new ones are detailed, and it also has the old ones. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. It is the old ones that just have a stack of just like the stuff that they've been collecting and putting sound banks on for years. That's totally fine.
Sure.
It's cool to have that many sounds. It's cool to have everything that was in a Phantom 15 years ago in a tiny little box on my desk. That's totally, absolutely fine by me.
I wonder if they have all the sounds that are in my XV 2020 that I have had sitting here since 2001 that I've never actually played.
Probably, because it all fits on a tiny little SD card at this point.
As opposed to the PCM card that's in this thing. PCM
Yeah. Also,
CIA.
the whole
Yeah.
line between seed-based algorithmic synthesis a la ACB and just straight up PCM is so blurred now. One of the things that actually really pointed it out to me, of all things, was a piece of software. And it was this synth called Flex in FL Studio that just came out with FL20. And it's a rompler. Like, on a bad, they said, yeah, it's a rompler. Like, that's what it does. So, like, you can't make anything in it. Like, it plays what it does. However, when you get under the hood and you start playing with the filter and the envelopes and filters and envelopes and everything else that's in there, it's like, dude, this is a synth. Like, it's a synth with starting points. Like, and you have to start from a starting point. There is no like init patch. But outside of that, it's fantastic and it sounds
It can
great.
sound awesome. It's its own methodology. Blackpool is actually the person who really cracked it through my head when I was talking a long time ago. She said, look, when you're talking about the PCM stuff, here's what you can't do. You can't do pulse width modulation on a PCM based patch.
Sure you can.
You could do a filter, and you can do envelopes on the filter. You can put an envelope on it, and you can work with that because those are all secondary things. But you're not going to find any PCM based synths that allow you to do it. You're saying that that's not
Flex
quite
does.
true?
Yep. Yeah, because what's the PCM of? Is it a sine wave? Is it a square wave? Or is it a whole like orchestral sound? Like, that's the thing. It depends on what you're doing. Like, of course, yes, if you have an entire like then pulse width modulation doesn't make any sense. But if you're
But the
talking about just
PCM
a wave, well, then you can fudge in pulse width modulation just by weird timing tricks in the playback.
The PCM, it would be a patch that is on a square, and you wouldn't even be able to change it.
That's the thing. You don't have to change it because you have a processing chain. Like, you have a signal chain. You have the source. The source is decoded. The source then runs through whatever your processing chain is. If your processing chain happens to include time-based effects under the hood, then yeah, you can make a duplicate copy and then do basically like, a wave replacement, and you can approximate pulse width modulation easily. It's a thing. It's all software.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Think of it as like just a sample player, effectively. Just, there's a bit more to it than that, and it's way less flexible, but
yeah, that's what PCM in general is. But I've yet to find, in my personal experience, a PCM player that gave you access to being able to craft a sound to that level.
You're not crafting shit. You're just tweaking.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's if they decided to expose that functionality to you. You don't get to dive in and apply it.
A lot like what Code just described. No Use for Anger says, you all way smarter than me. Doubt it. We just do this stuff. Everybody's got their own thing,
nice.
Right?
Yep. Tractor and ASIO on his Nexus 2.
Tried everything to get it to work with voice meter.
Yeah,
banana,
dude, don't do
pulse,
it. Don't do
Pioneer.
it. Just use a sound card. Stop hating your
Yep.
life. Like,
Dude,
just use a sound card.
Yeah, I did. I did it.
Internal
I did.
routing of audio is in Windows is the fucking worst. Just don't
really
do it.
is.
Use a sound card. In fact, your DJM 900 Nexus 2, I think, has 2 sound cards. So great. Use that. Awesome.
Yep. Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel
so,
your pain, man.
2 things. Bo has a video he put out on streaming last week, and he really addresses this, but I learned something from it. the new audio fuse gear from Arturia
Mhm.
has a loopback channel in it. So it's
Mhm.
effectively giving you a second sound card, running the audio out and then back in, but you only have to use one USB port. You only give up one USB port, and then it has separate drivers for the loopback. So that effectively it's like a sound card designed so that you can, a sound module designed so that you could do that kind of streaming within one device. It's literally a workaround for that fuck tartary.
Yep. Okay, so no use for
Pretty
anger.
nice.
So the way that you do it is really ugly. And no, I wasn't thinking that way. Like I was thinking as an output back into some kind of an input. The thing that I always recommend to people, especially if you're just doing DJ stuff, go buy a Behringer UC202. They're $20. Plug it in and plug your mixer output into that. Done. You're ready to stream. But no, there is a way to do it. If you use any digital audio workstation, for example, you can bring it in via use the built-in SEO in the DAW. That'll usually be multi-channel. So then you can bring in something like the Nexus 2's sound card output direct into that, and then push that out to an output and send that wherever you need to, virtual output or create a send, whatever. But yeah, voice meter banana, a really cool application, but
It's
And
such
add
a
latency.
nightmare to get up and
Such a
running.
nightmare.
I did it last week. So I'm getting a new stream going. It's gonna be mostly pop-up, but I'm gonna be doing it a lot. It's DAW based. I'm trying to replicate what I'm doing back there in DAW. It's more casual. And then if I create something really awesome, a riff I like, I can rip it out of there, throw it on the
Mhm.
Octatrack, and use it over there. Same thing. I'm deleting everything at the end. So I'm developing that right now. And that means that I have been using my MX1 when I use Ableton, but I don't have the inputs or routing to be able to do that without unplugging stuff, and I hate unplugging stuff if I'm going to use it a lot. I want to keep it there. So what I bought was the PreSonus Audio Box USB 96. So it's not quite as cheap as the Behringer 2020, but I think I spent $90 on it. It was pretty cheap, and it has a few more bells and whistles. It has its own it has microphone preamps if I want to use those that way. I can also output from it to speakers, so I can run my speakers through it if I wanted to do that. And then I use that. I'm literally running audio out of my Focusrite 6i6 back into this thing. So I just have a stack of two sound modules here, and I did it yesterday, and it's just like a test run, and it worked pretty good. I have absolutely no issues with how that worked out. It wasn't that expensive, so I recommend it. Although that Behringer thing is way cheaper. There's no part of me that
or find an old Gen 2 Focusrite Solo. There's a million ways you could do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, or if you use FL Studio, even just grab the free version. It still has the FL SEO driver built in, which is the most flexible multi-channel thing I've ever used. Like right now, we're on stream. I have one 4-channel sound card, another 22-channel sound card, plus my 22-channel mixer that's summed down to a single stereo going into USB. I've got a hot mess running right now, but yet FL works just fine, and yeah.
Yeah, so I downloaded the free version, installed it, then removed it just so I could get the FL driver. The FL driver is pretty useful. But here's what I found. Trying to do it without going out and back in, you can do it. I got it to work with Voice Meter Banana. The problem is the number of steps you have to go through. While that's difficult, you could theoretically just get that going and then automate it. It's not stable. Once you have all those pieces working, they work, and every single time I opened up over the next 2 days, something had shut off and I had to reset it.
Reboot. Always reboot. Every time you're going to use Voice Meter Banana for something important, reboot, because it's janky as hell.
Starts picking up other stuff. That was unstable. It blue screened my computer. All the things that you need to do to be able to run internal routing like that, it did work a few times and also blue screened me. And I ain't about blue screening, right? I'm not doing this so I could fuck around with gear the whole time. If I have to spend $90 for stability, I will. So there it is. PreSonus Audio Box 96. Because I'm going to use this like an hour or two every night. I don't want to mess around with drivers every single time I do it. It was inexpensive. It came with, what did it fucking come with? It didn't come in a box. It came with a note saying, "We're sorry, because of COVID-19, we couldn't provide you packaging. So here's a free drum plugin, and I don't know, it's like Joe Barlick drums. I don't know anything about it. I haven't installed it yet, but apparently it's like some studio drummer kit. I didn't really care though, because you know what? I just wanted to get the unit. This isn't like a core unit where I was waiting for the out of box experience. Give me everything that's inside the box, send it to me. It's fine. It is weird that they're still able to make these, but they can't get the packaging. That COVID-19 messed up their packaging capabilities.
Yeah, that's yeah.
They don't
That's a
use the
big
local
thing.
box printer. By the way, no
Yeah.
use for anger. I would like to commiserate with you for a moment. NXS2, the EQs are just shit, and we'll leave it at that. The next thing is Pioneer Pro Audio DJ or Pro DJ Link. Pro DJ Link. They had to put Pro in the name, right? Fuck you.
For the pros.
First of all, DJ Link, for anybody who doesn't know, is this RJ45 like Ethernet cable based communication system that's on all of the Pioneer kind of high-end products. And so what you do is you plug in your Nexus to your maybe your XDJ 1000 Mark IIs or your CDJ 1000 Nexus 2s or something, you know, so they can all communicate together. And what they're supposed to do is communicate things like if you plug a USB drive into one of the players, all of your players can now read from that drive. Cool. Yeah, that's great. And they can read track information and BPM and everything. It's also used for like synchronizing if you wanted to use sync, quantization, beat gridding. And so, yeah, obviously it would send clock as well. And it does. And so you look on the Nexus 2 while you're playing a track, and if you're playing at 128.2 BPM, you'll see in the little display, it'll say, 128.2, and you're like, cool, and you set it to a quarter beat delay, and you hit engage, and I don't know what it's doing, but it's not anywhere close to, I mean, it's on the grid, like it's doing it in the correct time, but it hasn't hit any of the transients. So it's just like, I've engaged a delay in the middle of your track somewhere in a random location every time. You're like, what? But I pressed it on the transients. Like, I decided to start 447 milliseconds later. You're like, but that's actually meaningful. Don't do that. You're linked. Like, you're literally like computer linked on the same clock. What are you doing with quantization on and you still can't do this? You're a $2,200 mixer connected to $1,200 players on a dedicated network. Oh,
So
how we have
you know what?
fallen. Also, DJM 600, released back in 1999, could do this through audio perfectly.
Yep. Audio detection, just wait for the peaks. So do you remember the that Behringer ripoff of the DJM 900
I
or
do.
the DJM 600?
Yep.
The delay on it worked exactly as you just described.
Yeah, it was just like that. That's how the Nexus 2 is. And it's like super frustrating because you're playing it and it feels like a DJM 600. And so you're playing it, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the little I'm playing some techno. No, you hit it and it's like you're like,
Train wrecks.
what are you doing? Like,
Why
I've
would
done
you
this
put a button on
literally
there that
over,
does that?
like, you know, the 10,000 hours to like be to truly master something. Like, I have definitely used the Pioneer delay for more than 10,000 hours. Like, I'm very good at doing that. And this particular unit can no longer do it successfully.
See, if it was a Roland, they would have not thrown it away and just put the same delay on for 20 years.
Just reused it.
And it would still work.
They would have
Pioneer
added
tried
a
to get all
D-beam.
innovative.
Yeah, absolutely.
It-
DJM
it
600
would've had a
and then
D-beam.
the EFX 500 or the DJM what was it, the 500 even worked fine. They were all the same shit and so good. Anyway, rant off.
That DJM 600 still regard as a classic to me.
Oh yeah.
It just is. It will always be. I could jump on one right now and know where every button is. My
Mhm.
hands just know it.
You could jump
That
on
thing was great.
You could jump on the 900 and know where all the stuff is for the most part, except for all the new stuff, but none of it works right. And the EQs have
Well.
somehow gotten worse over time.
Yeah.
Like the Pioneer EQs were never good, but like now they're just downright harsh. You're just like, oh, like that's just mean. Like, what are you doing to this music? Jesus Christ. And they're like, well, you can switch it between it barely does anything mode and kill mode. And so you put it on kill mode, and if you turn down one of the bands, it actually creates like a kind of like a low pass or a high pass to the point where there's like gaps in the audio. So like
Oh
you'll
no, they don't
turn
have a match smoothly.
yeah, so you turn down the bass to like, let's say a 9 o'clock, and there's a gap between your mid range and where the bass has retracted to. There's like
Ooh.
just a gap in the audio there. It's like, what are you doing? Like you're supposed to just bring the bass down. You're not supposed to like subtract it back. It's fucking bizarre.
This is a Pioneer.
Pioneer.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
their
that's a-
flagship mixer.
Pioneer is not even Pioneer anymore. They haven't been
No.
for years.
Yeah.
All right, so we are coming near the end, but I do want to talk about one other thing. Co, you played on Saturday and it was awesome. It
Yeah,
was
dude.
really good to see you playing. It felt like
Y5.
the vibe was there almost immediately. Y5, and you also have a live gig coming up in 17 days, which is wild because there's a global pandemic and just a huge amount of rioting. But hopefully the storm clears up on both those things before this
Help
party.
them rise up.
I was so glad to see you playing. It looked like you're having fun. That's what it's all about. Are you gonna be playing again this Saturday, you think?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
This Saturday is going to be, and yeah, I apologize if it was a little bit stuffy on the mix. It'll get better hopefully every week. This week I'm going to be doing kind of a mix of techno and a little bit of more that floaty, usually like deep session stuff. It'll be
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
gave
might
me
do-
so many ideas that I tried to pull off during my set afterwards. So I was really, really happy to see you playing musically. I love listening to you when you DJ, and I was really glad to see that that you were playing it. Felt great. Sorry, Ix.
I'm just gonna say I just wish you weren't wearing pants when you do it.
I will work on that. It's
Yeah.
getting a little warm now.
Yeah. So I think that maybe like the blue screen.
Oh, just a
So the vocal-
floating
just
body.
yeah, exactly.
I
Oh,
like
Yeah.
it.
blue pants.
Yeah, blue pants or blue shorts or something like that.
Try to
Something
put a
that is,
graphic
like,
where your schlongus is.
exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
some cool like magic effects where your wingy goes.
Ix, are you playing this Saturday?
I'm thinking I am. I haven't done it in a while, and I'm kind of feeling like it. Like the studio's still not done, but you're okay. The modular area is ready to
Cool.
go. So I might do. I haven't done a modular set in a long time. So
Did you say
maybe I'll.
you're okay?
Yeah, like
That's
we
awesome.
decided that everything has like stupid like C names and like
Mhm.
like so it's Euro CAY. You're okay.
That's
You're okay.
perfect.
Yeah,
I
You're
love
okay.
it.
I'm okay.
you're
It's
all
nice.
okay.
It's reassuring.
Yeah, exactly.
So your set on the last synth Saturday, I think I saw it got up to like
Yeah.
40 people at one point. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I didn't figure out
hopefully-
what I'm gonna do for that.
We got a lot more people into the Discord and involved off that, and we're doing another
Mhm.
one. And even more people are signing up. DQuil said he's gonna play. And I think we have like we're it's not since Saturday anymore. We have like Friday, Saturday, and now we're filling out like a Sunday thing. Devolta is working with me to help put all that together. So that's gonna be pretty special. So we're doing right now that one's gonna go monthly. So that'll be in a month. That is on the day you're playing at the Rave Co, but it also is the day before and the day after. So
Heads
if you
up.
do want to techno with us, you might be able
It
to.
is canceled or postponed.
That Rave is
Yeah.
least surprising thing I've ever heard,
Yeah,
given the fact that there's
valid-
riots
that-
and pandemic.
They had a valid reason, though. Apparently, it would have been actually illegal because the rollout for the phasing in of normalcy in Illinois does not include gatherings of more than 50 people by that date.
Yeah, the rave promoters
Same here.
in northern Illinois, they are really they think they're gonna have more than 50 people. Oh, well, isn't that special? Just kidding. Oh, the rave scene really collapsed, didn't it?
Yeah, that was
Really?
exactly what I thought when I heard that. I'm like,
Worried
what
about
if
that,
party
huh?
doesn't actually have 50 people? Is it still on?
Yeah, right. You could limit this.
Real
Trust
quick,
me, you can.
IX, what is the plushie that is behind your head but in the distance? The green one.
That one?
Yes.
That's Businessman Cthulhu.
Perfect.
It's Business Cthulhu.
It's business. It's business.
What's his
as usual.
specialty? Is it spreadsheeting?
This guy's
Oh,
little
that's so
briefcase
good.
there, and he's wearing his
Is it-
little suit.
Does he
Oh,
kill the
that's
spreadsheet?
great.
He drives. Well, his Excel spreadsheets drive you mad.
Dude. Oh, he's so cute and scary and businessy. I want to do
right?
it to him.
Dan, your wig out
Dan,
there was the
Dan
best.
wigged out there.
Yeah, you went like,
right?
but it was like powerful. It sounded robotic. It was real good.
You meant it.
Mhm.
Instead of H.P. Lovecraft, that's J.P. Lovecraft, right? Like J.P. Morgan, right? No? Okay.
No.
Which event are you referring to? No use for anger. And D. Carmike, personally, I think we're going to see a second wave. Oh, dude, yeah. In case you hadn't noticed, there's a large cadre of folks out on the streets as we speak, wrecking shop, and commingling in tight quarters with men with plexiglass shields, and yeah, it's gonna get real dark again.
Yeah.
Dark?
Or maybe it
dark.
won't. Maybe it'll be
It's already
fine.
dark.
Everything will be great. Maybe it will, as a country, just have a revelation and be like, "You're right. Everything's wrong. Let's fix it all right now." Yeah.
I'm waiting for that giant meteor.
I've
Oh,
heard
I
that
don't know if
Yellowstone
that's-
might explode, and so that would probably.
Hey, there
take
we
a
go.
lot of
That'll
our-
do it.
If you saw this thing I got,
No use. I'm tagging you into it right now in the Discord.
Oh, what'd you get? What'd you get?
the Fader Port 16.
Nice.
Whoa, nice. Hey.
Do you love it?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's like this is like the last thing I needed for this part of the studio.
I
So-
really, really want a something like that. In fact, pretty much that. That one's motorized, yeah? Between
Yeah.
presets, nice.
Yep. Yeah, it does all
Airport's
that kind of stuff.
great. It's
Yeah.
an awesome.
It's a
control surface.
fantastic
How
thing.
much does that guy run?
$9.99 new.
Metal?
Yeah. Actually,
Metal.
the bottom of it's metal. It's like a little plastic stuff in there, but it's actually built really fucking solid.
Yeah, it looked it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's how compatible it is with FL Studio. I think that's one of the ones that's not.
It
100%
should put out
compatible.
Mackie Huey
Yeah,
and
I'll figure-
FL
it
Studio.
Oh, it
does
runs
Mackie
off the Mackie. Yeah, then it's good. Yeah, we.
But I that being said, I know that Reason does with Mackie Huey, and this thing just like bombed on Reason. It just looked at me like, what the
Yeah.
hell? So
Well, I'm not surprised about that either.
yeah, Logic it works great with though. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
it's flawless in Logic.
20.1. They just finished the HUI integration for FL.
Nice.
So hopefully.
But yeah, I've just been sitting here noodling with it. Like I'm not doing any mixing right now, but just understanding how it works and everything like that. But you can do things like you can control your plugins on there and all that kind of stuff, and it's really simple.
You have a fair amount of mappable keys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got like a bunch.
Because yeah,
actually.
I'd probably want like transport and then channel control, probably some panning, and then just a couple of keys to do things that I normally do. Maybe open up my plugin browser, that sort of thing.
It does panning very interestingly because there's just one knob that you can use and you just select your channel and pan.
Yep.
But you can also do it so you can actually do it so that you can pan with the sliders as well.
Oh,
So that kind of
cool.
creates a kind of a neat way of doing that kind of thing. It's very slick. But yeah, so far so good. It does have like a lot of like you has the whole area where you can just do your automation punch-ins and stuff like that right on there, like with latch or touch or write or anything along those lines. Works great.
Nice.
It's
Fast,
it's
too.
like a mixing desk. It's
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
a
it's like
controller goes, it's about like the engineering of things, and that's like the audio engineering. It's like a sub in for when you used to go to recording studios and there'd be a big long SSL console there. It's a controller in that model and style.
Yep.
Ooh, they have a little baby version of it too for.
Yeah, they have an
500.
8 channel and then they have a 1 channel as well.
Yeah.
You got to get the 16 or the 1 in my opinion.
I don't know. That 8 would probably do it for me.
8's pretty good.
I
Yeah.
could just page through it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you page through it with the little blue knob over on the far right. You just you can push down and do it, and it'll jump it further, that kind of thing.
And then all of your faders are going to adjust to whatever that next bank of 8 is. Yeah.
Instantly, like it's so fast, it's crazy.
Are those OLEDs good?
They're not they're LCD.
Those are LCDs.
That's the only downside to it is that they're like
Downside and upside. Downside, they're not as readable. Upside, they'll last forever.
Yeah.
And it probably costs $400 less this way too.
You'd
Yeah,
be
probably.
surprised actually. Those
That's
little
impressive.
OLED panels are remarkably cheap.
Oh, they went down?
Oh yeah. So if you go to Crystal Fonts, you can actually find the one that's used in the Electron Gear.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's $18, I think.
Gotcha. Hey, quick question on this. Does it have any audio capability or is it straight up control?
It's just a controller. It's just a USB controller.
Got it. And the reason why I asked is like at this point in time, you can get a recording studio going for just so little, and it's really about how you build the building, right? And then obviously you still have to bring in the clientele, but the building is what matters almost more because the recording tech is so accessible. And one thing that would be important if you're doing something like that and using this is having a talkback system. So I was just wondering if this had any facility for talkback, but if it's
No.
just control, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't have any. It doesn't have anything like that. I mean, I have my audio interfaces have talkback control in it built in, so I can always use something like that, and I can just what I would do with all the shit that I have laying around, and if I had a actual room that I would use that kind of thing in, is I would actually use my Stream Deck to control the talkback functionality.
My kind of ultimate setup, if I just had some money to burn, I actually wouldn't go with an integrated console. I would probably go with like a fader port 8 or 16, and then I'd probably go with one of those, probably like an Audio Fuse, the 8-channel, with the really nice interface on it, the knob and all the monitoring controls and all that. Because I don't have that many inputs that I need to aggregate locally. Like all of my big inputs are behind me. And they're not going anywhere. Like I don't need to touch them; they're all set, and then I do everything in the box. So, and then if I need to ad hoc something, I'd have that interface right up there, and then have the dedicated control surface.
It makes a lot of sense because what you're doing is you're running recording studio software and using recording studio techniques on your MIDI studio.
Right.
You're not breaking out mics and recording a drum kit or bringing in a commercial band and dealing with them in another room. You're in your room and you're the artist too.
Right.
I'm the only guy. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not leasing out for other people to come in here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mixing job once in a while, but that's about it.
I've been thinking about something for mixing because Push 2 is excellent, but it's not quite great for mixing. So Push 2 is really great for sequencing, composing, controlling, feedback. It's really great for jamming and performing, although it does need usually I found I resurrected my nano control. This works again. I can't believe it. I've had this thing forever and it works again. Although I might eventually get like because the buttons on this thing suck and it's the timing on it's not very great, but I might eventually get like that Novation X control instead of this. Basically I'm thinking a lot about a controller that can do
go nuts with these
basic mix things, but then also allow me to do cue monitoring and some various other functions. This just has some mappable buttons, so it works for that. Now that said, the Control XL would do that as well. I'm not so sure if a traditional controller like the fader port would, but if so, then that would definitely be the winner because it would be just so slick to have that right here and have the push right here for sequencing. The other thing is if I were going more of a recording, the soft tube series, so getting the double stack of the soft tube and then the soft tube sliders. So having that right next to a push, or just having that, if obviously neither of you are on Ableton, is an awesome combo.
I could see that.
But it depends on what you're using, right? It depends. You've got to like their plugins or it really doesn't bring that much benefit.
Right.
This is my current FL Studio controller.
It's cool. Are you using it in machine mode or are you turning the machine portion off and just using the knobs and pads?
MIDI. Yep, just MIDI.
Cool.
Yeah, that plus the key step done.
Nice. Yeah, I'm using my Linstrument instead of a keyboard controller at this point.
Nice.
And just like because I'm finding that I'm faster on that than I'm on playing a keyboard because I'm a shit keyboard player. So so it's actually been kind of a fun way of doing stuff. And plus that's how like the Deluge is laid out in a very similar way when it's in keyboard mode. So as well as like the Hydrosynth does that too. So it's actually been pretty helpful as far as that's concerned and just getting used to that style.
You build up muscle memory that works on several different things.
No use for anger. Thanks for dropping in.
And plus it's the same muscle memory no matter what chord kind of thing. So
yeah,
good seeing no use.
If I had the money to spend, I would consider that because I'm also a shit keyboard player and It'd be awfully nice to just press things and it'd all be wonderful.
Well,
Although
the Medusa also has that control mechanism in
Yep.
it as well.
and
And
the Launchpad XL
Yep.
does that. And I just realized there's a plugin that I have that does something very similar, where you basically set your key
Scales,
and
yeah.
set everything, and then you just play, and everything
Mhm.
sounds great, and you're like, oh, cool, all right.
I love it. I love selecting keys and playing pads. I know that I do lose the ability to have accidentals if I use the whole screen on both push and um, on the launch pad. You can set it so that it just lights up what's in key, and then everything else that's unlit is still there, but it's an accidental. They
Mhm.
do that so you can do things like play drums and whatnot, but it's really awesome. It really works well. It gives you a lot of information. And yeah, it feels like cheating at first, but then just keep playing. You'll develop skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
that's
get
the key. You start to being able to figure out how to express
Mhm.
quickly and find riffs and find music that makes you happy, and then that works really good.
It's
Well, I think
that,
that's the fun
that
thing about the
translating.
Linstrument is it's not it doesn't do the scaling on it. It's like all the notes are on there.
Yeah.
And then all the notes between those notes are all on there as well. So you're like, you can slide up and down if you want to and get all that weird sloppy shit. But yeah, I mean, it works out really well, and you can punch it. I don't think you can do scales on it. I haven't really bothered to try.
Yeah, Doug, Scalar looks super awesome. I did check that out. I don't know that I have a use for it necessarily. The thing that I use most of the time for just kind of nailing things in and noodling, because I think that noodling is important, is Orb Producer Suite, and mostly just the Orb chords. Throw that down and just play in really quick. You switch it into play mode, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, where it just shifts you into a specific scale, specific mode. You're good to go, and then play. Of course, you
Noodling
can do
is
that in
so
FL as
important.
well.
Love noodling.
Yep.
That's half the fun. You just noodle until you find something you're vibing with.
What I'll do is I'll
And
play something in really quick,
grab it.
and then I'll tell it like, "Hey, make this musically correct," and then I'll go, "Okay, make it a little bit more dense. Okay, now make it a little bit more lively." Like add more, like staccato in there. It's like, okay, cool, and it kind of does some of that stuff, and then that inspires you to do something different. You're like, oh
Mhm.
shit, okay, that's a fresh take. Wait, what does this sound like in, like F sharp minor? Like, oh, cool, okay.
I got one more piece of gear recently. I got this new microphone. So with the whole thing that I'm doing in Ableton, this whole kind of casual jam, I want to really do a lot of live looping. So I've been experimenting with the looper plugin in Ableton,
Mhm.
triggering it off of the push, and I bought an Audio Technica AT 2020. There's absolutely no controls on here. It's a cardioid condenser, so you can't
Picks
affect
up-
the pattern or make it.
Picks up the world. Yeah,
It
it's really
picks up
good.
the world.
So the mic that I used before I got this mic was the AT 2035, which
Okay,
is
so that one has a few switches on it, right?
yeah, just I think there's 2 switches on it. Yeah, and one of
Like
them
a high
is like
pass?
it's a pattern adjust and a high pass. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
it. So it's basically the same mic. I think they use the same element even.
Yeah, those are worthy switches. The pattern adjust is obviously more important because you can certainly use your own high pass. Just leave it on there.
Yep.
I'm working on developing it so I really do think there's a concept here that doing live looping with a mic, you could keep on messing around with and developing your rack and your channels until you really get a studio quality sound.
Well, you play in headphones, so you'd be set. That was my only complaint about the 2035. The audio quality was excellent. It was super sensitive, sounded great. It gave you a great range, so if you did want to kind of get away from it a little bit, you could articulate more than with this. This, you get off axis and it's kind of gone.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2035 or the 2020, you can really modulate it just so. It's very precise. But, playing with monitors on,
No,
good
you
luck.
can't do it. You're gonna wreck it. You're gonna have all sorts of phase issues if you do that too.
Oh, in San Jose, I actually played with monitors on the whole time. It was just very careful placement of the mic
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right.
and my speakers.
And input control. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in headphones the whole time. So,
Yeah,
but
in this
what
room,
this is then
it's just
also,
Echo City.
yeah, what it's also triggering off is I'm gonna do some level of sound design. I don't know if I'm going to do it to the room, but I'm going to do some level isolator so I could be a little bit louder in here. So I might do like a drop down curtain so that I'm a little bit more cut off from the rest of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking about getting a giant foam ball over here and hollowing it out. Kind of like the Chaotica eyeball is supposed to be pretty cool, but it costs $200 and it's really just a giant foam ball.
Yeah.
And you stick the microphone in there and it's like having a booth, except you're not in a booth.
Mhm.
Your head, your face into the hole and you sing. I'm thinking about doing
my sex life.
Yeah, you you can
With
get
a
some
guitar.
you can get some fine Amazon special kind of Chinesium, the fold out Porta
craft
Studio things
balls.
as well. No, like the little like 3-pane ones, or sometimes just the little arc where it's like a little parabola. They're not expensive. It's like $20, $25.
Yeah. I'm gonna do
Or
something
just get some
along those lines.
foam. Like make your own little thing. It's
Like
they're not
$20,
doing
you
anything
get a foam
special.
ball, and then you put a piece of felt over it, and that's your pop pad.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
if it looks good, it looks good. Maybe you paint
Dude,
some artwork on it.
Actually, can I recommend a pop screen for that one? It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. please do.
Let me find it really quick. It's the
Though if I get one of these balls, if I get some balls, I'm not gonna need a pop screen
Balls.
because they usually have it, or you'd put one on it.
My balls never require pop screens.
it is a whopping $10,
Oh,
and it is.
I'll give it to you for 8.
so good. Here we go.
Negotiating 101.
Bring
My
it
actual
up,
price
bring
is
it up.
9.
I'll put this into the chat as well in case anybody is interested.
Let's check this thing out. The PMO Tech.
It fits the 2020 and the 2035 perfectly. And it's super low profile, and it just kind of stays the hell out of your way. You forget that
Oh,
it's
wow.
there.
That's nice.
It just becomes kind
Done.
of this little shell over the mic.
Done. I'm also, since I'm gonna be hand holding it, gonna have to figure out some way to make it not pick up noise there. I might actually just get like a suspension thing and just hold on to that on the outside. Oh, we'll see. We'll come to that one. So it's
Oh,
I'm
here-
just live looping, and it's amazing how quickly you can actually like feel good about doing that. You just loop it. If you don't like it, you kill it. You do it again. You do it again. You do it again. You do it again, and suddenly you start to understand. So many times you walk up to a mic and you do something and it doesn't sound good. It's because you just don't do it on the mic and you don't listen very often.
I'm sure it's exactly the same, but I just sent a second link. This is the actual one that I bought many years ago, on February 5th, 2017 to be exact. I'm sure they're all the same thing, just rebranded though.
Looks like it.
Neat. Cool. That'll do it.
Cool.
Yeah. I think we should call it. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I've been tired.
Yep.
I'm ready for
Let's
bed.
rate out. Who's on? Not many people are on. Want to go to Kirkland Boy?
Kirkland boy.
Kirkland Boy. So we have DJ DNA. Kirkland Boy comes to my sets. He's a good dub step. Let me see if he's doing something cool though. He is. He's playing in his gigantic, crazy sushi palace.
Sushi.
Gigantic,
Palace.
crazy sushi palace.
There's 2 large dragons and some gears at the bottom, and it looks like it's at war.
And
He's
what's
at the
this?
top
What's
kind
his
of directing.
name?
Kirkland Boy. I think it's like
Glenn-
dubstep.
Oh, there we go. Kirkland boy.
Boy.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll have feelrussia.com play us out.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Feel Russia.
I hope
Feel
everybody
it.
feels fulfilled with their newfound guitar knowledge, or reminisced about guitars if you
Just
already
get the
had
Rock
the
Band
knowledge.
one, guys.
Everyone buys guitars and becomes guitar players, and then we will all serenade Dan with our guitars.
Right.
We will
I'm
follow
getting-
him around with our guitars 24/7,
Become guitarists.
singing our undying love for him.
If I were
with our
if I were
guitars.
in Thundercats,
You'd be guitarra?
guitar. Actually,
Yeah.
the joke doesn't work out that
No.
well because there's the
No.
feminine on the back end, and I'm going with it. I would be Kitara.
All right, that's cool. I'm not gonna stop you. You be you, boo.
I'm totally gonna get that Rock Band one. I just want you to know I'm buying a guitar, and it's
Do it.
because of you
Hello,
Do it.
bro.
joining the club. Wahambra, you're jumping in right as we're rating out. But that's okay. We love you.
All right. That'll do it. It's a wrap. Everybody have a
See you on
fantastic
the
evening.
flippity flap.
Enjoy Crooklyn. Boy.
Boy.